All right. All right, everybody. I just wanted to throw this out there. We've not been doing the podcast as frequently as normal. So we haven't been doing one a week, and that's on us. But at the same time, our my loyal co-host and our producer, Bote, has been super sick lately. He's been trying to fight the good fight. So if you guys just be patient with us, we'll get back on track as soon as Boat is back above board. Until then, give him your thoughts, your prayers. Pray to Odin, pray to whoever you pray to, and make sure that you are giving all your thoughts and prayers to the boat. Pretty soon we'll have him back in action. But definitely reach out to him, send him your well wishes, and pretty soon we'll get him taken care of so he can take care of us. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Much love, Bo.
Cheers. All right. So, welcome everybody to the Bearded Viking, the Vikings, Outlaws, and Cowboys podcast. I have a very unnatural co-host today. We're gonna come up with a nickname for him while we're here, but for now it's just gonna be Merf. It's just gonna be Merf. So, so I'm the Jarl, and today's podcast co-host is going to be Merf. I don't know. We're gonna find out whether he's a natural today or whether he's not.
If I freeze, who knows? It's 50-50 chance.
It could go either way. He's been asking to be on the podcast for a really long time, so we're gonna see how this all turns out.
Listen, 60% of the time it works all the time.
Right, and we have a nice little agenda for everybody too. So before I have you introduce yourself and go down the line, we'll just let everybody know what's going on. We're going to give a little update on Bearded Viking. We have our men's mental health, we have physical health, the importance, and then we have things that you've kind of gone through and your specific story, which I think could be really interesting.
I got a story for you.
I think we could get like a lot out of that.
Yeah. We might need its own spin-off of Rob's story just for the background.
We're not going to get a conspiracy corner just because we're going to be doing Rob's story. And then we have, for conspiracy, like kind of what jacks you up. And did you see anything at 29 Palms? What did you see while you were out there? And then, just the usual wrap up. So without further ado, let's kick this thing off. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right. I'm sitting in the office. I brought me some Healy here. Can't complain about that. Just waiting on you guys, man. Y'all waited too long for this.
You had a lot. You were the most impatient person I think I've ever met.
Hey, I made it ready. I bought the camera. I bought the mic. I've got everything ready, and just was like, now the ball's in your court, guys.
Yeah, see, he's doing this on his own dollar.
100%.
Just so he could come talk about it. He doesn't want to talk about it in the comments anymore. He wants to, let us know how it is.
Well, the problem with the comments is I can't argue with you when you're wrong right off the bat. Here I can be like, wait. Okay, here we go.
So you've known JT for a long time. You've known JT longer than you've known me. So why don't you give us a little bit of your story?
So I've known JT about since 2005, so coming up on 20 years now. I was recruited in the Marine Corps between him and another gentleman, a staff sergeant that I'll always respect for some stuff that he did for me back then. But went to boot camp, came back, and JT was like, he was my boss. I had to do all that shit, deal with the recruiter's assistants, because it was over the holidays. That's the only way we were able to come home for Christmas is if we signed for recruiter's assistants. So I had to report to his ass every day, go do his shit. And from there, I mean, it's just history. Him and I just always been there. Like, we've had our ups and downs. Him and I have gone through hell and back. Like, if you ever ask him about the Ford expedition, he'll tell you some stories about how I was kind of a dick in that situation. But like, at the end of the day, JT's always been a guy that I know, that's that 3 a.m. friend. That's that guy that if I called him up, he'd be there for me, and vice versa. If he ever needed anything, didn't matter when it was, because I definitely had to show up for some shit for this guy, but he was always my guy.
So that
So,
3 a.m. friend, that's a big thing, right? There's a lot of people that are talking about that 3 a.m. friend right now.
well, I think it's huge, especially now. Like, I mean, you guys are on here talking about mental, men's mental awareness and stuff like that, and that's massive for that. Like, the 3 a.m. friend's a rarity and I mean, just to have one is huge for anybody, let alone to have a few. Like, I got a handful of people that I would consider a 3 a.m. friend, and it's not always been the case. Like, I used to always just be, my way. I used to always have to do things on my own, and so. And that's how my story starts, was everything was on my own. So to sit here now and say I got some 3 a.m. friends, I got some people that doesn't matter what it is, I know and trust that they'll be there for me. That's a big deal for me.
So, I know I asked you about your story, to talk about your story a little bit, and how you knew JT. But, we met through JT. We met at, I think the first time we met was at a Marine Corps birthday, right?
Yep. And
And,
then again after at Autorama.
yeah. And then after that, just kind of,
All of a sudden
cars and
yeah, years
bullshit.
later, now I got another 3 a.m. friend.
Right. You just keep inheriting us like a
Right.
little bit at a time.
It's little by little. Well, I think it's the other way around. You guys are like, you guys inherited me. All of a sudden, it's like I meet another one, and all of a sudden, you guys just realize you're just fucking stuck with me.
I mean, I think your trailer's still out in the yard. I think. I haven't looked
No, the
today.
trailer's not, just the
Or no, the
truck.
truck. The
The truck's
yeah,
in
the
the
truck's
yard.
out there. Yeah,
Trailers in Cedar
I keyed
Fort. I
it
mean,
today.
my shit's everywhere.
Well, I had like the car in the trailer, and now it's just
Yeah.
the truck,
Yeah, you've had a few of my things out there just parking in your back 40.
It's okay. It works out. It's easily findable, right?
I try to pay my dues, if we got to swap out a motor, even if the flywheel goes in backwards, I do what I can.
That was a fun time. Um, I learned a lot. I learned not to use a rock bar as um, a jack stand. I think that's
Hey,
basically what we were trying to use it as, is a jack stand.
I mean, on top of some wood, on top of a jack, on top of some other sketchy OSHA not approved
Yeah.
tools.
No, OSHA would have had a heyday with us. It's a good thing it was a private entity of retards putting a motor
Oh,
in.
hard R.
Oh yeah. No, it was like Ringling Brothers. Most definitely.
And just for everybody on here, because not everybody knows the story of Merf. When I first started the club, the car club, I had a few different nicknames. The one that was kind of the most was Romeo, because every time I went to the bar, I ended up talking to some woman. And that one stuck for a while. And then all of a sudden, at Autorama, I thought, oh, these guys are getting me a jacket, which I had no fucking idea was coming. And they give me this jacket, and it's this big emotional thing because these guys have been my family. Like, we've gone through some shit. And I look at the name, and it says Merf, MERF. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And these guys just look at me. They're like, dude, you're Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will. I'm like it's some bullshit, but I can't argue with
You
you.
can't refute it, yeah. And then
Right. It's there.
and then we started calling your daughter Little Murph because she is
Oh,
Little Murph,
she loves it.
100%.
She loves it. So
No, it's been a lot of fun. It's been kind of a crazy ride, and it's pretty cool how, just kind of how the story started and how the story's going. Because it's kind of just like one continuous tale, right? And we met through JT. Had a lot of fun at Autorama, and now we're just kind of a bunch of inseparable friends. And
yeah,
through
we
the
kind of
ups,
pushed him on the back burner now.
he pushed us on the back burner, dude. He's so busy.
Yeah, that's true.
You can say that you've been in his chair, right?
Oh yeah.
So, but it's really kind of cool, and it kind of shows how like the evolution of relationships and friends and everything like that, and how you can still have, you know, those same relationships with, the buddies, the buddies that you've known forever, and then still kind of introduce new people into your tribe, right? So
Right.
I think that's kind of the cool part. And I don't think that any of us really ever set out to have new friends or like new family.
Definitely did
You know what
not.
I mean? It's like you're like, you know what? I gotta find a new family member.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna
Never
in a
had
car
that
show.
plan. Never thought I'd run into somebody that, I mean, his parents, I mean, that's my mom and pops too. Like, you and your brother, your kids. Like, I was not like, oh yeah, I need to go find a new family. Was never on my priority.
You weren't like a
Wasn't
puppy
even,
just running
yeah,
around
that
the
was way
street.
out there. Yeah, I'm like that stray dog that y'all picked up, and now you're like, well, we fed him, so here he is.
But yeah, so I mean, like, so now and you were up at the grand opening.
Yeah.
I could take what's your hot take on the grand opening?
Dude, I was honestly like, because everybody you hear mixed stories, even on the podcast, like, oh, it's going to be this or it's going to be that. I knew it would be pretty good, but I also been up to up to Columbus. I knew it was a small town. It's a long drive from a lot of people that know, and to see the amount of people that show up and have the privilege of being able to take the photos and meet these people and talk with them and just be a part of that was just it's an amazing thing. Like, just to have that is awesome, and just to see how good it really did. Like, I think it surpassed anybody's expectations,
Oh yeah, I
and
agree.
that's you can't ask for anything better than that. I
Well,
mean,
that
how
was
smooth it went, like, it was just all great.
well, that's one thing too. Like we've been giving you shout outs for doing the photography and everything. I mean, you've taken like my family photos. You took all the meadery photos. I mean, you even got Gus's lipstick in one of the family photos. My wife appreciates that.
She loves it, I know it.
It was so funny because I was like, you know what? I don't even think that guy knows that he did that, because that would have been the first picture that he sent me. I don't even think he was trying to be a bastard at that point. I think he was just like so busy just working everything out. I told him to like cut an inch here, cut an inch here, make me not look as fat. And you
I
forgot the
mean,
dog's
really, I'm
dick.
I'm dealing with four people and two dogs. My priority wasn't to focus on if the dog's dick was out or not. Like, I didn't think the pink lipstick was gonna come out. I figured he's just chilling, he's good, take a picture. Even editing, I'm not like, it's not my goal in life to just look at a dog's dick and see if it's out. So I'm checking on you, make sure your eyes are open, make sure the kids are looking at the camera, make sure Justine doesn't have to look like she wants to kill me. Like, going through all of those steps, never once did I was like, well, look, he's got a little pink rocket hanging out.
Well, see, and I have a question for you later.
All right.
Based on that, we'll get to that. But
Uh,
we've given you shout outs on the podcast too before, and about your photography and everything you've done and how good you are, and the landscapes you do are insane, right? Right behind you, you have one of your landscapes there, um, isn't it? Is that one of yours?
no, that's not mine. That's the
Oh, that
law
was a.
offices that I have an office in.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See,
But I already told them they're getting replaced with mine.
yeah, he's the bee's knees, folks. So if you need family photos done, Merf is here for you.
Just
And
not weddings.
just not
Just not
weddings. I
weddings.
thought
I'll
you
do
dug
anything
weddings,
else.
dude. I
No,
thought you were trying to get with the
bridezilla, man.
bridesmaids, dude.
No, I mean, it's good to go to the weddings. Like, I'll go do your reception. I'll take pictures of the reception. I don't want to be responsible of missing that one key moment that bridezilla wanted, and she'd close her eyes or something like that. And you can't recreate it. Like, if your family photos are fucked up, I'm like, hey, dude, I'm gonna go do some free shot for you. Let's go back. I'm gonna redo it. I can't be like, hey, bring your entire family from all over the country. We're gonna recreate your wedding real
Get
quick.
your dress. Get back in your dress.
Right. It just won't happen. So I'm not a fan of weddings. I've done a decent amount, and I do them for like people that I know or stuff like that. But aside from that, I wouldn't call me for weddings. You want family
No.
photos done? You want something else? I got you.
Cars. Cars,
Yeah, cars. Al's got a couple of his cars done by me.
Yeah. No, and they turned out fantastic. One of them looks better now than it did before. especially before I backed into it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was I'm just gonna let you guys all know, it's Men's Mental Health Month. We can't stress that enough. I did put that in the agenda just because I already knew that you knew. And it's good to have you on because our kind of men's mental health thing is we go through the car. So as we go on through the month, we're about halfway through the month, but you're gonna see everybody kind of doing their own little things on Instagram with men's mental health and like just doing things that make them happy. And I think that's a huge thing as far as men's mental health goes, is trying to find those little things that make you happy. And you've listened to every podcast, so you've heard me say like, I don't really know what makes me happy. Driving down the road, maybe I love my family, I love everything about it, but sometimes having that alone time, my me day, or
Yeah.
my me hour or two, or even just like that long, well, not really long, but that straight drive in where you're just cruising down the highway at 85, that kind of clears the mind, gets things back to where they need to be, just kind of the reset. And I think that, and having you on now, we can kind of talk about it because I think it's part of your story too, right? With the car club, you've had tons of cars over the years.
Like 230, 240, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I mean,
I've had a
you've had
couple.
way more cars than me, but I mean, the I don't know, like the pleasure, but having that car that you built and you've drove down the road with, right? And how that impacts your mental health and how that makes you feel, right?
It it's a night and day difference. Like I've got a newer truck that I love. I love driving that truck, but honestly, getting an old beater vehicle, it doesn't matter what it is. Once you put the time and the blood, sweat, and tears into it, the work into it, like the comfort of cruising down the road in something that you built is just it's something else. Like it doesn't matter if you're cruising with people, if you're just by yourself or just running to the gas station. Like I did this, this is what I did, and I stop at a gas station now, somebody's looking at it and be like, oh, I love the car, I love this, I love that. Like there's just nothing better. And even if the thing is, and I know Al's the same way, we could care less if anybody says anything about the damn car. It's just our own feelings of knowing like I did this.
Oh yeah. Well, and like the thing with like old cars and cool cars and stuff like that. I mean, you're just polishing it up, making sure it looks cool, just so some other dude might think that it's cool at some point,
Right.
as you're driving down the road. But
It's that because it's funny is everybody's like, oh, did you get that for the women? Listen, guy, I'm driving a car that's 50 years old.
there's
All they're gonna see is an old car. It doesn't matter what it is, how nice it is, what was done to it. It could be the fastest, nicest Eleanor of the fucking Mustang. To the lady, it's an old car with barely any AC versus a brand new sports car. It's always the guys that are gonna be like, oh,
oh
that's a
yeah,
nice car.
100%. And there's not very many women that are going to get into a car and be willing to get out smelling like exhaust and
Right.
burnt fuel.
Brakes or who knows what else.
Right. And so like we're talking about the good times, right? And I wanted to preface this, and I'm going to kind of hit you with a curveball, but we're talking about the good times and the good things about men's mental health. But I think that for as much as you've participated and you've texted JT and I and bullshitted with us about the podcast and your comments on the socials and all that stuff, I think it's really important to hear your hard times. JT and I have talked about our hard times. Me and the boat have talked about our hard times. So can give me like a snapshot or rundown maybe of some of your hard times and the things that have brought you through the hard times.
I mean, I can tell you this much. I knew you were going to throw a curveball. I knew when I looked at that agenda, I was like, there's some shit that Al's not telling me, but that's fine.
That's what
I
makes
mean,
this podcast
right.
right?
And Al knows probably better than anybody. I'm not the one to talk about me. Like I just don't do that. But Al knows probably more about me than pretty much anybody. And right now, I just see this as a conversation, me and you. And to be honest with you, like my hard times, like my life growing up, is not your normal everyday thing. Like the stuff that we dealt with, the stuff that we grew up with, the stuff that we were around, like it just wasn't there. Like my real dad is the worthless piece of shit. Like he was only out of my 37 years as of next week. It'll be in my life maybe 4.5, 5 years. Like he's never been there. My mom, amazing. She's, a good friend on top of being my mom. Like I love, respect her. She went through hell and back, raising 4 kids, doing everything she could for us. Like, so my life stories, it's not your standard. It's that stuff that you see in these movies or in the books of like, I mean, shit, we lived in a one-bedroom hotel with 4 kids and my mom for a long time. Like we bounced around from home to home. I never had that father figure there. Right? I had stepdads there that were great people, in and out, but not perfect. I mean, it's never been your what Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
I watched that and be like, holy shit, what the fuck is that? Like I've never had that.
Mhm.
Not in the essence of everybody else, but because of what I've gone through, the life experiences that I've dealt with, the shit that I watched my mom go through to give us, it wasn't necessarily what we wanted. We didn't have the money for that, but we always had what we needed. We needed clothes, we had clothes. If we had food, we had food. Maybe it wasn't the best of food, but for a woman that was like physically beaten, mentally abused, to just finally step out and see like I can do this on my own, and I'm gonna do this on my own for my kids. Like there's nothing I would never do for my mom because of the way I know she went through. And I know I was a fucking dickhead to her growing up. I'm not a good kid. Like I was that little asshole. But then you look back and you're like, realize what she went to, especially now being a parent and what she did for us and going through that. And like it's just amazing. And from that I've developed family. Like I got family. I call my Cedar Fort family, or like a guy that I've known since junior high. We met because we were going to get in a fight playing football and stuff before school at ninth grade. And he owns his own law firm, and I have an office here. I work with him. That's where I'm at currently. Like, and his family, his immediate family, his extended family has been my family for years. So I can't say that I've never had it. It's just it's different in the aspects that I get it. Like Alan, I've had that conversation of, you know, well, you got your family. It was like, well, I really don't have that. Like I've got my adopted family and I've got people that have taken me in as family, but at the end of the day, I don't have that. I'm gonna go to mom and pops, or we're gonna do a big family thing together. And my family, we don't get together. I have little aspects that I see here and there, eh, on their own. We don't have that big family reunions. We just don't do that. I just never had that. And as a men's mental awareness, it's a big deal, and it's a shame to see it gets foreshadowed by so many other things. But the fact that these guys here are pushing and saying, like, bringing it up and constantly just pushing and driving, because I think that's one of the biggest issues we have in this country right now is, men, and whether they're actually classified as men or not, or the fact that there's been generations of like you have to hide your feelings, hide your feelings. Then all of a sudden there's this whole expansion of the opposite. So now these so-called men are more about their feelings than women. Like it's going to complete 180. So to see that now, like that's horrible to see. But I'm kind of getting off topic, but really like just the men's mental illness, and like a huge shout out to Al and Rudy, like, or the Bote, whatever the fuck you guys want to call them. I got 50 nicknames for them. These guys have been my rock since I met them, and there's been some bad times, and it's just good to know that I have that there. So
Well, and a lot of people, well, nobody knows, right? Because they're just meeting you now. But I mean, you went through the Marine Corps, you were a police officer, you've really ran the gamut of public service. You know what I mean?
What?
Just
Yeah.
like that selfless, type of thing that you've done. And with being a Marine and then coming back from the Marine Corps, becoming a cop and going through those things, there's going to be some mental health that you're going to have to work through, right? And
Yeah.
I think that, you know, although nobody's going to come out of it unscathed, I think that you're doing pretty fucking good. And I think that you're definitely a prime example of perseverance and those things that keep you ticking.
Yeah.
So I definitely would like to know, what are those things, even before us, whether it be, your kids, your family, the things like what kept you pushing forward?
I honestly, I think the biggest thing that's pushed me forward and will always push me forward and drive me is because I've gone through hell and back my entire life. I don't ever want to see someone else go through that. So even if shit's shitty for me, I'll still always push because I know I'm not a smart man, but like I know I can help some fucking people. You know what I mean? Like I know I
Right.
have some good in me, and I can guide people through my experiences to be like, look, man, I get it. Times are tough. Shit's hard. Whatever it is, my overall goal is if I can help, one person a day or maybe a week because I don't run into anybody new. But if I could be a rock for somebody else and a guidance to be like, look, you can get through this. If I've gone through the shit that I've gone through, I know you can get through it. If my mom went through the shit she's gone through and she's doing great, like so that's the thing that drives me. And it's also for my kids. I mean, my kids see that. I mean, my daughter more so because she's older, knows the shit that I've gone through. She sees it. I mean, little Merf is pretty much a smaller version of me that's better looking than a female with this same fucking shitty attitude towards everything. And I will always tell people, I hate this, I hate this. But at the end of the day, I really don't. I just I don't like people that don't have that drive, that ability or want to improve their situation. Like everybody goes through hard times. Everybody does. And I heard this recently actually, like, and honestly, it might have even been on the podcast because I listened to a bunch of it. It might have been one of you guys said that. But one of the things that got me the most is it doesn't matter if the hardest time in your life was you just got a flat tire on the freeway, or it was you've been in combat or you've done all this stuff. The way you see the hardest point of your life, and if you sit there and say, look, this is the hardest time I've ever had to deal with, nobody can judge whether that's true or not. Nobody could say, look, dude, it's just a flat fucking tire. Who cares? If that's all you've ever dealt with and you're stuck on the freeway and it's 100 degrees and you don't know how to change your tire, that very may well be the hardest time at your point right there.
It could be a tipping
And
point.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's like you're like, I've never done this. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm stranded. I don't know what to do. If that's your hardest time, nobody should judge it. Nobody should talk down to you or assume like, fuck, dude, I've done this. It doesn't matter what you've done. It's helping that person get through what their hardest time is that they viewed. And
Right.
that's huge to me.
Sorry, I always write notes, right?
At least
Um,
one of us is.
yeah, we got to have something for later, right?
Yeah.
Um, you make a good point, and I don't think that it was us that you heard that from. I feel like it's a super wise outlook because you don't know what other people are going through, and you don't know what their hard times are. And yeah, a flat tire could be the fucking tipping point in 100-degree weather, or it could be snowing and blizzarding, and you got a flat tire and you can't do anything. I think that's a very good representation of, man, this is sucky. Like
Yeah.
this is shitty. Like, how do I persevere from
I mean,
something so bad?
it could be that guy that, he's a millionaire and everything's gone well in his life and he's never dealt with these negative things. And all of a sudden, something so small like that to somebody that's gone through fucking hell and back or gone through the shit. But to him, who knows? And I'll tell you this, is I used to have the worst fucking road rage, and I used to hate all this bullshit. And I still get irritated. Like if you're going slow in the left lane, there's no excuse for it. But aside from
That's
that,
just
like
Utah.
I've had people, I think I was on the phone with you when I was talking about, like, all of a sudden I'm driving down the road pulling a camper, and I got a 45-foot bumper pull camper. That's a big fucker. Minding my business, dude comes over honking and flipping me off, and it's just like, well, okay, it pissed me off, but I don't know what he's going through in his day. I don't know where he's at in his life, and so it's like I've gotten to a point where it's like I'm not going to get upset about that. For all I know, that dude's in a hurry and he's trying to get to his kids, and I might have cut him off and, startled him, and he thought he wasn't going to make it to his kids. I don't know. So I can't really be mad at the guy for it.
Yeah, I totally get that. And I think, the point that you were talking about a minute ago was, you say you don't like people, but it's really not people that you don't like. It's the way that people can act and
Correct.
just the negativity that those people can bring sometimes, especially, when you're out there and it starts to impact your day or affect
Right.
what you're doing. And a lot of times trying to figure out how to handle those everyday situations is a little bit rough. And trying to figure out how you're not going to totally just torpedo this person into the ground, even though you want to, because we've all had those situations, especially like you bring up
Yeah.
road rage or something. You're like, I'm going to murder this person. Like, this is
Oh,
not going to be
100%.
good. This is not going to be good. But you never know. You never know what the fuck is going on.
Right.
And I'm still going to circle back about a hard time. Like, I want a, I want something for people to be able to kind of grab onto when it comes to, you know, specifically your story and what you've been through. You know, I want that example, that hard time, that example,
I mean,
because
as far as hard times, like honestly, I can go military, I can go law enforcement. I definitely had some really shitty times in those situations. Not necessarily because of the military, because of law enforcement, but because of the lifestyle that you live. But I think for me, I mean, a hard time is just, you know, going through a divorce and having everything taken away from you, your kids, your life, your things that you've grown to build. Like for me personally, for somebody that grew up with very little, I take a little bit more pride in having a nice house, having, nicer car, or, I've got a theater in my house that will put a movie theater to shame, but I've worked my life for that. And so going through a divorce, and you lose everything, and you're living in a 24 20-foot camper that somebody that's, 35 years old, and it's their hunting camper, and nothing works, and the roof is leaking, so you're tarping it, and you got cups and shit set up. Like there's times where I was just like, I, where I felt like, is this it? Is this what my life is? Like I truly feel like, I'm not gonna be the Trump or the, Elon Musk of the generation, but I know I have a lot to offer, and I've always felt that. And I have a lot of experience and a lot of things that I can help people and show people with, and that I believe I'm destined for some really good stuff. But even for somebody that's always had that feeling, going through everything that I've gone through growing up, and then have to, build a life, and then just it just tanks, and there's nothing. Like you're literally living in the back of somebody's backyard with weeds that are 6 feet tall, eating cans of chili and ramen noodles that are cold because you have no way of heating it. Like, hoping to go inside and shower the next day. Like I've been in that situation. Like I would never say I was homeless because I had that option. I didn't
mhm,
live on the streets, but a 1980s 20-foot camper isn't really considered a home either. Like you know what I mean?
mhm.
And so like that, I would say like that's probably one of the hardest times as an adult, as a man, that I've lived, to just feel so defeated. Like I have nothing. Everything I've built, everything I've lost. I don't get to see my kids. I don't. It's just, you just truly feel lost. And I think that is the biggest thing of defeat. Like growing up because you didn't have a lot of stuff, or living in a small place, or money was tight and stuff like that. Regardless of how bad it is, unless you're living on the streets, I don't think that would ever be classified as a hard time. I classify that as your parents are doing the best that they can for what they can do in their situation. And so as a man, though, like, losing everything and going through that loss and just being like, feeling like I'm literally, a paycheck away from not even having a camper to live in, or a crack in it to where that's just not even livable because I've already got 10 gallons a night coming in if it rains. So for me, I would say that was by far one of the hardest things you could do. And as a father, like, to not see your kids and then also be dealing with that, and that was probably by far one of the hardest situations that I've ever been in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I've definitely seen situations with you, where, it just felt like it's just been piled on over and over and over again. But the perseverance that you have in your body is insane. And just the absolute work ethic, and one of the pillars that we talk about is, work harder than everybody else. And I think that you would definitely be a example of work harder than anybody else, because it doesn't matter what it is, you're still going to work at it, you're still going to work hard, even when the give up is right there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean, the drive has always just been, is like, if I quit, then what? And before I had kids, it might have been a different drive. Honestly, I couldn't sit back and tell you what it was. But I had kids young. I had my daughter when I was in the Marine Corps. I was 19, 20 years old. And regardless of what I'm going through, regardless of anything, my drive is to be an example for her. And I had boys later on, which, it's my drive is my kids,
Hmm.
100%. My real dad wasn't ever there. I didn't meet the man until I was 12. He seemed decent for the first year and a half. Well, I mean, okay, let me cross back. I met him, like, I knew him up until I was about 5. My last memory of him was him dragging my mom down the road by her hair, hanging out the side of the truck, threatening to kill her. It was my last memory I had of the dude for 7 years. And then all of a sudden, like, the family's like, no, he's changed. He's a better person. As a young, 12-year-old kid, you want to meet your man. You want to have a dad in your life. You want that.
Hmm.
And so, like, oh, I'm going to give the guy a chance, and everything's good and everything's, dandy. So you destroy your mother that went through hell and back for you and say, I want to go live with him, is which what we did. And things are good, things are great. And then all of a sudden he gets custody, and literally walking out of the courthouse, he, with a closed fist, hits you in the mouth. Then it's like, whoa, what the fuck happened? You know what I mean? Like,
I messed up.
com- complete 180, like, whoa, what the shit happened? And it was downhill. It was, we stopped going. I started ditching school because I couldn't do anything. I had no life. It was go to school. He didn't give a fuck if we did good in school. It was go to school, come home. You're gonna be my slave, and you're gonna fucking work your ass off until you go to bed. You're gonna clean the house. You're gonna clean the garage. You're gonna go do side jobs with me. If you step it on, you say anything stupid, like, it's not like I'm gonna kick your ass. It's, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you until you're black and blue and bruised everywhere. And so to go through that situation, and finally the turning point was, a good friend of mine, William. I mean, everybody knows him as my brother. I'm literally in his law firm that he's built from the ground up. And he, as kids, we do stupid shit. Put your dick where you shouldn't. Maybe don't wear a condom. Somebody got pregnant. Okay. Well, she didn't want to keep it. He did. She didn't give him a say. And he's like, look, dude, you just got to go with me. I can't, I'm going with her. I can't do this alone. I went with him to the abortion, ditched school to do so because we're still in fucking, I think it was 10th grade when it happened. Drove down there, came back, walking through the neighborhood, and my real dad saw me walking in the neighborhood, grabbed me, slammed me against the truck, beat the fuck out of me right there, took me home, beat the fuck out of me some more, like, enough to where, like, 4 different neighbors throughout the neighborhood called the cops and said, hey, some shit's going on. And the cops show up about 20 minutes later. I've got, like, bleeding out my nose, black eye already. I've got handprints on my throat. I've got bruises all over my body. He goes out and talks to the cops, comes back in. I go talk to the cops, and the cops tell me, well, you had to come and you should have listened to your dad. And it's like, oh,
that is insane.
And that's a big reason. Like, I'll get into it a little bit later, but that's a big reason I ended up going into law enforcement, because I fucking hated cops for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But so, going through that and having that experience and just like, what the fuck? And so, I mean, this was a couple weeks before Christmas.
That's tough. You have the people that are supposed to be standing up for you and looking out for you, hurting you,
right?
And then the people that you're supposed to be able to call for help.
Totally. Well, best of luck next time.
Yeah. Good luck, guy.
Yeah. And so, you go through that, and then, it just kept happening. And then it got to the point where I ran away, and I went to Will's parents' house, and I think it was a week or two before Christmas. And honestly, I could never tell you what they got me. I can't tell you anything. What I remember most is maybe at most, probably a week and a half before Christmas, I went over there. I had nowhere to go. I'm still covered in bruises. You could stay here. Nobody will know. We'll hide you. And Christmas morning, I woke up and I had clothes and I had things that I needed. Like, I don't know what it was, but they went out of their way and they brought me what I needed. Mm-hmm. I needed a loving home, and I didn't have that. And I hadn't since I was living with my mom. With my mom, it was a loving home, but I never had that for years. 12 to 15. That's crucial years in a man's life. It's a long
time, yeah.
And I never had that. No love, no anything. And then to just have that, like, it doesn't matter, we got you. And like, I think that was probably one of my biggest Christmas I had ever had. And again, it wasn't because I got a bunch of stuff. It was because some family that has no ties, has no responsibilities, has nothing. It's like, we love you. We will be there for you.
Yeah, and that's
like
huge.
That was a turning point for me.
That is absolutely huge. Yeah, that is something that can completely turn everything around, which, I mean, clearly it did. Having
if I would have stayed with my dad, who knows what happened.
Yeah, well, and I think that's a good example of ways that just acts of kindness and people being kind can actually impact somebody else, whether it be a child like you were a kid, or whether it be, a grown ass person, going and paying for somebody's dinner or something like that you think, hey, maybe they're not, maybe they need that money. Let me pay for this and let them, use their money somewhere else or something like that. You know what I mean? And you see that stuff. You don't see it as much as I guess we used to, but yeah, that's absolutely huge. And these are stories that I'm hearing for the first time too. So,
most people don't know this stuff.
That's what I'm saying is like the impact of these things that you went through and the people that were there for you, that's huge. And I would imagine that people by now know that the experiences that we have when we're young impact us when we're adults, when we're old. And the Marine Corps, I don't know about being a police officer, but I'm still imagining it's a whole lot like the Marine Corps, teaching you how to compartmentalize stuff and learning that whole fight or flight response and how that all works. That's insane. You know what I mean? Just to come out of it on the other end. And, you weren't, I guess I didn't talk to you about everything that I was going to throw, as far as curveballs and everything, but I actually met somebody while smoking cigars, hanging out, that actually talked about the start of PTSD in his life.
Mm-hmm.
He was a military guy, and he went through a lot of this stuff. He talked to me about a book that was called The Body Keeps Score.
Yeah.
And the book is actually written by a guy who started basically taking Vietnam vets and helping Vietnam vets, and just kind of the study of their PTSD and when it started, how it started. and then the steps and the ways to kind of move past it outside of
Right.
medications. One of the things that is later mentioned in the book is ART training,
Hmm.
which has to do with, and I'm not super versed or an expert in any of these different techniques or anything like that, but it absolutely has to do with getting over PTSD without medication. And he was telling me, his PTSD started when his mom died when he was 14. I mean, these you're the things that you're talking about are things from a very pivotal age that have just huge impacts as an adult on your mental health. And then you go away to the Marine Corps and you have that shit to fucking figure out.
Yeah. Just
And
throw
then you
that in
go,
there.
and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna come back and be a cop. And then you have that shit to come back and deal with. And being, even being a cop, you don't have. It's not necessarily, um, you know, your OK Corral shootouts and everything that you're gonna have PTSD about. It's the thought that on a daily basis, you're probably pulling a dead body out of something, or you're seeing somebody get really, really hurt in
Yeah.
a car crash, or you're seeing somebody get really, really hurt in a situation that you may have been in when you were a kid. Just like you said, as an example, that's why you wanted to be a cop, is because you didn't want to be that cop that left a kid stranded when a kid was getting hurt. So these things are huge, trying to go out there and make a difference with that, and you know, hoping and thinking that, hey, maybe you can make a difference in a kid's life that maybe had these things happen, but then, you know, falling back on your mental health, the shit that you had to go through, and the amount of like PTSD that's wrapped into your body from your childhood, the Marine Corps, being a cop, you know, stopping to help somebody on the side of the road, that type of shit, and the different amounts of, or not the different amounts, but the different, I guess, avenues that PTSD has to getting into, just your everyday dude.
Right. Well,
And
I could tell you this much. I think the biggest thing for me, regardless of what I've gone through childhood, through any of that, military, law enforcement, I mean, and I know it's a hard thing for people to grasp that have been there, but what's worked for me was, whether it be, combat or officer involved shooting or a dead body, or it truly doesn't matter what the negative thing is. I never focused on that. My focus has always been when I helped somebody and I knew I helped somebody, and I hold on to that. I did this for this person. I don't give a
mhm,
fuck if anybody else knows. It doesn't matter. I don't need to put it on fucking social media and tell the world about it.
yeah,
It's that feeling that drives me, that I can focus on the good that I have done and let that drive me, or I could focus on the negative that I've done in life and let that drive me. If I
well, and
focus on the good, yeah, shit sucks. You're always going to run into bad things, but you have that good there, that drive, that something to look forward to, that positive. You can call, law of attraction. There's a million different names for it. It really doesn't matter. What matters is focusing on the positive in your life. The positive could be that you ate today. The positive could be
right.
that, you got a sell at work, or you got an attaboy at work. It doesn't matter what the positive. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be life changing. But if you could take the good in each day and, like, yeah, fuck, today sucked. Like, I don't have no work. I'm not getting paid nothing. I got a roof over my head. I got people that care about me. Like, that helps me more than anything else does.
So you're talking about like the
Yeah,
micro things,
100%.
the 5 minutes at a time,
I
the
like the
5 minutes
15
at
a
a
little
time.
better.
Yeah,
But yeah, the 5 minutes at a
you're talking
time.
about the 5 minutes at a time, the micro things that that I think that a lot of people don't think about. I think that a lot of men don't think about. I think it's way easier for us to focus on the bad and all the shit that's going wrong.
Well, and I think it's getting easier and easier to focus on that.
Yeah, no, it has definitely been made very easy for us to focus on the bad. I mean, with the news, everything that's going on, it's always a focus on the bad, right? There's never, the good news or, the feel good story other than like the cat in the tree or some shit like that. But no, you make a really good point. And I think it, inadvertently falls in line with a lot of the shit that we talk about. And getting further, getting past the, your story. And I appreciate the hell out of you sharing that because there's, no reason why you had to other than me asking you questions, but you could just be tell me to fuck off.
I'm very good at telling people just, yeah, get fucked.
Yeah, maybe next time, guy.
But I told you when I was coming on here that I would be open with you guys. Mainly because, like I said, if anybody else hears this after the fact, I truly don't give a fuck. This is me having a conversation with a brother. So,
well, and the thing is like people don't understand too. Like, they might see us in the streets or, see us on social media or anything like that and think, oh my gosh, this is just this fantastic life that these people are living because it's social media and they've never had anything go wrong in their lives ever. And then we get to come on here and we get to tell them, hey, like these are the rough things, the hardships, the shit that really sticks in our craw about life, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the topics that we had tonight was physical health and the importance, and how much I wanted to ask you, how much do you think that the physical health has to do with the mental health?
For somebody, I've always been fairly fit my whole life. Like, I mean, not including before Marine Corps. I was like 133 pounds. I'm 6'1". I was 133 pounds. I was a fucking toothpick. Okay?
Blow you over.
Yeah, 100%. But after the Marine Corps, like I went through boot camp. In 3 months, I gained. So
you were like a double rat. You were a double rat.
Oh, 100% double rat. 100%.
Yeah, you were a double rat. Yeah.
I went from 133 to like 187 in 3 months of boot camp. And I've always maintained about that weight. I've always had active things that I've done. Like I got a belly from drinking, but I'm in shape. Like I might not always have been able to go to the gym and pick up 200 pounds, but if you need your motor balanced or your transmission balanced, I'd be the guy that's under there and I'll find a way to get it balanced. Like I've always been pretty in shape. It's later in life now that I'm realizing like I've been going to the gym, trying to stay more active, and I think it's truly a huge thing, and I didn't realize it for a long time. Like
it gets harder.
And even it's not even harder. The mental aspect of it, having these career fields where you're just always active. That's just part of your job. You're always active. You're always active. You're always active. Well, then when you get out of that and you're not as active, you don't understand how much that was doing for you mentally. Like to sit there and be like, fuck, man, I'm down. And then all of a sudden you start going to the gym and you're like, fuck, I'm not down no more. Mm-hmm. Like I will never be one of them fucking steroid gym rats. I'll never be that dude, but just that normal exercise, that letting your body, feel some sort of tiredness from other than being awake for 12 hours. You wear yourself out. Like that has done more for me mentally than a lot of things. And at the time I didn't realize it was because that just was my career. It's because that's what I was doing.
So like the physical fatigue after working out or, getting those endorphins and everything after going to the gym or something like that. And me personally, I feel like that's something that I didn't realize that was a big part of at least the Marine Corps, the military. And then you come home, and if you're like me, you come home and it's like burritos and beer and stuff, and then you're like, oh fuck, how the fuck did this happen? I'm fat now. And you're like, how the fuck do I get back to like my warrior status and everything? And
right.
And God, it's made so easy now. It's like everybody's been looking for like the wonder drug, the pill that they take, and all of a sudden they're skinny and everything. And now like these people are running out and getting like Ozempic, or they're getting like the trizepatide or whatever the fuck it is.
Fuck.
And like, don't get me wrong, like I thought about it, but I'm like, you know what? There is way too many people going after this thing, and it's so easy. What are the bad things going to be?
That's
So,
my
and
thoughts
like
on it. I know somebody that did it.
Dude, my thoughts are like, you know what? I'm probably just better off drinking whiskey and beer and eating cheeseburgers because I don't know what the fuck that's going to do. I know that the cheeseburgers and whiskey made me who I am now.
I know that I compare that the same as, certain shots everybody had to get a few years ago. You don't know what the fuck it is. You don't know the long-term effects. This is something brand new.
It came out.
Yeah.
Like,
and also it's like, oh, it's a great thing. It's like, okay, but is it great 5 years from now? Is it great 10 years from now?
Right. And
you know what? I know
shit out of me, dude.
Even if I'm not eating the best, I know I'm still pretty active and I'm going to maintain my shit naturally.
Well, see, and the thing is like, and I think you're one of those guys with like a high metabolism anyway, right?
Oh, way too high.
And
yes.
So like me, I've been like sedentary for how long has it been? It's 24. So for like 14 years, basically, been sedentary, working behind a computer, and doing that. So it's like, and that physical part is a huge thing that weighs on my mind all the time because I know where I could be, but it's trying to motivate myself to do it. You know what I mean? Because I know that's
100%.
It's a huge mental piece of it because everybody feels better when they're in shape. But then you're like, God damn, like everything is stacked against me when it comes to trying to get in shape because, not to make excuses or anything like that, but like the food that we have now is way worse. I mean, you look at pictures of people,
you can get a cheeseburger for $1 and a salad's $8.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, like, you see these pictures of people like in the 70s, walking the beach, and there's nobody that's not fit.
Everybody is
like ready to go,
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit, dude, the impact that the food and everything that we have now is just like, okay, well, I want to work out, and if I get myself motivated to do that, I still have all the cards stacked against me, even when I go and try and eat really, really good. And one of the things that really kind of sucks too is, so my wife works in food. She knows everything about food. I mean, not everything, but I mean, she knows a great deal about food. And
makes good food too.
Yeah, she does. you always stay for dinner. You always stay for dinner, right? But she just recently found out through study and all kinds of stuff, even if you're trying to eat organic and everything like that, like 48 out of 50 companies that have the organic stamp on their food, 48 are not organic. They still have all the chemicals and everything,
dude, that are being loopholes.
Dude, that's the thing, is they've made it so easy in America.
I know somebody that just retired from USDA, that big stamp that you get on meat, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they were explaining the loopholes of and then even on a Joe Rogan podcast, not to throw out names, but listen to that. Like, I listen to a bunch of different things. I like to educate myself. If you don't educate yourself, you're at a standpoint, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And there's so many different loopholes. Like, there's so much meat here that says made in America, but it's not. It's grown somewhere else. It's brought here. It's packaged in America. And because of that, they could put a stamp on it because we packaged it. And it's like, and that's just with meat. There's not really a whole lot of fucking things you could do to meat that fucks it up. Right. What about all this other? What about Red Hot Cheetos? What about all these other things that are like clear? I mean, how many talks have we had about the shit that's in, fast food hamburgers, or the amount of food of any topic of what they can bring here? Clearly it has to be some sort of bullshit in it. And you have no idea because there's these loopholes of saying, well, it was packaged here, so it's USDA, it's American approved, or it was manufactured here, so it's fucking made in America. No, you got parts from 17 different parts of the fucking world, none of which know what the fuck the other's doing, and you just put them together here. But it's okay because it's made in America.
And they don't care.
They don't.
And it's so easy to go out and just get a gut bomb. I'm hungry. I don't
Oh,
want to cook.
fuck, dude.
I don't have anything at home. I'm going out to get a gut bomb, a
Dude,
cheeseburger, a taco,
it
a
could be you're
burrito. Like,
broke. I
yeah,
have no money. Fuck. I'm going to McDonald's because I can eat an entire meal that's going to fill me up for $7.
yeah,
I mean, it's Bidenomics now, so it's like $14, but
yeah.
that's
Fast
still
food has
cheap
gotten
compared to what the
expensive.
rest of the shit is.
Right, it's still cheaper
It's
than going to
half
the
the cost
grocery
to go
store.
and buy food,
Yeah.
make food.
Well, and even like when you're going to buy food, the amount of food that's absolutely destroyed and messed up. And
Yeah,
you're not actually getting the nutritional value about it. If anything, you're ingesting a bunch of poisons. So, like this whole thing, this whole topic, it weighs on my mind because the physical health and physical fitness is something that's kind of been ingrained forever. You know,
right.
if you play, at least with me, you know, you play
Yeah, you
sports, you
play
always have to be in good shape.
baseball,
You go to the
Marine
Marine Corps,
Corps.
you got to be in good
Yeah,
shape. And then, you know, for me, you get out and it's like, oh, fuck, man, my
that
life,
fucking
you know, I'm just going to go, you know, I'm going to
right. I don't know what the
I'm going
fuck
to
I'm doing with my
DoorDash a
life.
gut bomb. Yeah.
Right.
And it makes it really hard.
You know how easy
So
it is to get fat though because of DoorDash and all this bullshit?
I know that's what I'm saying is like,
It's so fucking simple.
it's like, I'm like, fuck, I'm going to go to the gym today, but fuck, I'm really hungry and there's nothing in my house. I'm going to go work out for an hour, hour and a half. And then, man, I'm really feeling guilty about these, Mickey D's fucking chicken nuggets or burger or whatever that I'm eating.
Right. Whatever the fuck it may be.
Yeah, it's really hard, and it fucks with me big time when it comes to the men's mental health aspect. And I'm not saying by any means that I'm like the pillar of self-control, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll use that. We'll use self-control right now. And going out and you know, you work out and you know, you can do really, really good for a little while, and then you get like it's like crack, dude. You're like, oh well, I'm back on the cheeseburgers. You know what I
But
mean?
even the food aside, like, and I don't even think like the food definitely doesn't help the case. But the American way has been like go, 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 go for a few decades now.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, you got people that are working, like everybody says, oh, a 9 to 5 job. How many people actually work
Nobody
a 9 to 5
actually,
job?
yeah. Get the fuck
How
out
many,
of here.
how many people work a job and then like I'm gonna put you out on blast right now. Okay, you got I wouldn't say it's a cake job. Like I know it's a hard job, but you don't have to like go do physical work or shit like that for a job, which
Right.
sit doing the type of work you do
It's sedentary.
is mentally draining. Mentally draining. Okay. It may not be physically exhausting, but it is mentally draining. Then you end that, then you got baseball, then you got this, and you got that, and you got this. And it's like, it's seriously like they're designing it to not want anybody to be healthy because you have to go to work, you have to pay your bills, you have to be there for your kids, you have to do this, you have to do that. And then by the end of the day, you're like, fuck, dude, I just did like 16 hours a day of work basically, and I got like 3 hours of sleep, and I got to start over again. Like
Yeah.
everybody, and I get this because I listen to Andy Frizzelli, huge on like you can make time, you can do this. Well, listen, I love the dude, I love his podcast, I love all that he does. Not everybody in the normal atmosphere can make time.
No,
Like
he
if
has
you
great
have,
messages, makes great
yeah,
points.
dude,
But
100%. Like I said, one of my favorite podcasters. That dude has so many good points, but the everyday person is set up for failure from the beginning. Like you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this. And by the end of the day, especially once you're a parent, you have a family, you have a house that you got to take care of. Like I spent the last few days dealing with a fucking leak in a pipe that I'm not done with that's at mom's house. Like there's so much shit. And it's like, when can I go to the gym? Unless I have the money to have the gym at my house, or I'm going to the gym at midnight and just gonna, sleep for 3 hours total,
mhm,
which clearly isn't healthy. Like they're taking away little by little, and I honestly think it's a design to take that away
yeah, because
because you don't
they don't
have
want you
it.
to be healthy. And seeing like I'll use myself as an example and put myself on blast as you said too is I have all the shit here that I could really be going after, like getting after and
Right.
doing it, but it's like, dude, I've been mentally fucking drained all day. And I've been that wake up at 5:30, go to the gym at 6, get back here by 7, start work, get the kids ready, take them to school, and then work all goddamn day, pick the kids up. Yeah, I've been that guy, right? But
Right.
how long can that really last? Like,
That
you know what I
literally, I
mean?
mean, you're cutting into sleep. So, and they say sleep's the important part of your health. Like, if you're doing all of these things, like you're saying, like if even if you get up, you go to the gym, then you're here to take the kids to school, then you do your day job, then you have to pick up the kids, and you have to go through all these steps. Like, there's probably like 2% of people in the entire fucking world that still, and they're probably on cocaine because they're like, fucking, let's go to the gym. Like, ain't no normal
You know,
person want to go to the gym, even if it's in their basement. They're like, dude, I am wore the fuck out. I
yeah,
just did 16 hours. I'm going to sleep for 8 hours. I got to do another 16 hours. And it's just never ending. Like
yeah.
that's the issue.
And I really, I wonder a lot about this type of thing because a lot of the people that you see in, even on the podcast and stuff like that, you bring up Andy. We talked about Rogan, even bringing up like Mark Wahlberg, right? Because everybody knows
Yeah.
his workout
He's
routine and everything like
right.
that. But these people are they're entertainers, right?
Oh,
They do
right.
podcasts. Andy, I think is probably I'm sure that he's super busy. I'm sure that
Oh,
Rogan is super busy.
100%.
Those types of things. But it's like where do you where do you draw that line between like wanting to hang out with your family? And there's been probably I could probably count on it. Uh, fuck, I could probably just go through and just write check marks on the days and weeks that me and my wife haven't even hung out, and
Yeah.
it's just because of work, taking care of the kids, going to do sports, going to I mean since March when sports and stuff like that starts for the
Yeah.
kids. I mean, putting limits or making time to go out and hang out together, just as my wife, just me and her, and carving that time out is brutal.
I can
And
only
we
imagine.
want to hang out. We want to hang out. We want to like bullshit and just whatever, talk about each other's day or whatever. But holy shit, dude. Just the
A little
amount of
fresh haircut.
oh, look at that. Just for the podcast.
Yeah.
Mine's not as fresh. Um,
Mine's every Wednesday.
yeah, see.
But no, I know what you're saying, man. Like well, and I see it in this aspect. Like you see these people, and I get they're extremely driven. Like Rogan, okay, Andy, like those are two that have been brought up.
Hmm.
They're a little bit older than what we are. They're in a different generation.
Their kids are
And
older.
back then, right, their kids are open. But that aside, I think the biggest change is back then you knew, okay, if I work my ass off for the next 10 years, I'm gonna be successful. I spend time with them. Nowadays, none of that is promised. You can make great money, you could do great things, but the way and this isn't a political thing, this is just the way the world's going. There's no guarantee for a year from now. There isn't. And
Right.
my big thing is regardless of any of that, yeah, I can take my time and avoid kids and family and relationship and friends, and I could bust my ass, and I guarantee you I'd make a shit ton of money. Guaranteed, because I know a lot of fucking things and I have a lot of skills. But at the end of the day, would I want to take that time and spend it making money and not knowing if I'll be able to spend that time with my kids or with friends or with family or whoever it is?
Just the
I
happiness.
think, yeah, that we're at a generation where the happiness isn't where it used to be. It used to be go work your ass off 12 hours a day, whatever, 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day. It doesn't matter. You still have that happiness at home. Well, nowadays that's getting cut back more and more and more. And it's like our generation that you and I grew up with, that split generation of like we started without phones, we didn't have social media, we rode
Hmm.
bikes, but then we also grew up with phones and all that. Like yours and my generation, we're close in age. I'm a little older. maybe not wiser, but I'm a little older.
Definitely older.
Since I got a little bit more
Yeah,
gray
you
going.
got some gray in the ginger. Yeah.
It's you know it's the salt and the cayenne pepper because I'm a redhead. But our generation, like you could never know if tomorrow's promised. And right now, if I can make enough to be okay and take care of my kids, I'm not going to push to be super successful and make $1 million or billions of dollars, or it doesn't matter. I'd rather spend the time with the people that matter because we're at that point in the world where we don't know if that's there in the next 5 years.
Well, that
That was
thing
never an issue in the past. I mean, after World War II, up until the last probably 6 years, there was this huge gap of a generation that was raised where you just knew you had that time with them.
you were safe. Yeah, you
Yeah,
knew you had safety.
we don't know that. And it could be completely random. It could be anything. It could be a fucking tornado. It could be anything. But there, because of social media, because of the access of everything going on in the world, your mind is ingrained that like tomorrow might not be there. Way more so than it was back then.
Well, do you think that we think too much now?
Oh,
Do you think
100%.
do you think that we have too much information
100%.
and
And it's
we're just
causing
trying to
issues.
decipher all of it, right?
Yeah.
Because
100%.
I would say 100% that physical health will impact your mental health.
100%. Agree with you.
Especially as a grown up, as a grown ass man, I would say that your physical health is very important, right?
Right.
Because you don't want to feel bad about yourself.
No, you
And
want to be able to
and
go out and play with your kids and
yeah,
not be winded 10 minutes later and be like, I got to sit down, I can't play.
right.
No man, no matter what you say, no
Ever
man
wants to
wants
be in
that.
that place. Never
Right.
wants to be in that place.
Right.
But I guess maybe my question is how do you draw that line between work, your kids, your physical fitness? How do you how do you I guess how do you do that? Right? Because obviously I don't have it figured out. You don't have it figured out. And now, going through, we all have day jobs and then
Right.
we're doing Bearded Viking and then Justine and I have a couple other businesses as well on the side too. Like we're going through all this stuff. We're trying
Right.
to do the best we can for our kids,
Right.
trying to make the best life possible, give them the best, um, I guess, the best opportunities, right, that we can.
Yeah.
And we see these things as important, but it's like, where do you draw that line? Because you have to have your mental health. It's Men's Mental Health Month. You have to have your mental health. You have to take time out for you. You have to do something that makes you happy, that recharges the batteries. But you also have to take care of getting in shape, you know, your physical fitness, your kids, your wife, you know, just your job, everything, right? And for you, you're still trying to take care of your physical fitness, your kids, you know, you don't have a wife right now, but you're still trying to take care of yourself and try and make yourself happy and still going through all these steps. So I mean, like
But
how do you
I think here's the issue though. And part of it is, like you said, we have so much knowledge at our hands, at our fingertips, And it's not even just knowledge, because most people don't use it for knowledge. You have so much information being blasted at you. It's like learning, it's like drinking from a fire hose. You
Mhm.
cannot take it in. And I think because of all of that adding on to everything else, like it is causing that issue. You cannot now. I think 20 years ago, you could have put, hey, this is the basic platform for the most part, people will fit into this. There's
Mhm.
no doing that now. Everybody's life is so far fucking different. You can't do that. It is literally a case to case basis of where you should draw that line. For you, it's like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, and this is maybe I could spend 10 minutes every 2 days on a treadmill. Whereas it's somebody else that could be like, fuck, I'm gonna be at the gym 7 days a week, fucking 2 times a day. There's no there's no like general fit anymore.
Like the
And I think that
balance.
used to be, yeah, I think it used to be like for the most part, people went to work from, 8 to 4 or whatever it was. That was all it is. That was enough money to cover your stuff. That was enough. You could be with your kids after work. You could spend time with your family or your wife when the kids went to bed. Like it was a standard that for the most part, 80% of the population can follow under that one guideline where you could do this, and then spend some time at the gym and still be able to get all this. We're not in a society where we could do that anymore.
Well, and I think that like circling back to the food, right? And the food supply and the things that we're eating and the things that are available to us, even if you go grocery shopping, like even if you absolutely just nixed fast food or the easy gut
Right.
bomb and you went to the store and you started buying that food and you're eating that food, I feel like being physically fit and being strong, being like absolutely twisted still and sex pill, that becomes a lot harder because
Sorry.
that little pea shooter. Um, but like I feel like it made it harder, right? Because you don't have the food that we had, right? Now the food that you have is just trying to kill you.
100%. You don't even know what the
And
fuck you're eating.
20
You don't even
years
know if your
ago,
hamburger's a hamburger.
right? I got a freaking gut bomb the other day from Burger King, and I was like, how do I know this is actually the burger and not like that weird plant thing that they've been trying to sell because they're just trying to get rid of it? Like you don't fucking know because they've tricked you and they've twisted so many things so many different ways. Whereas 20 years ago, we didn't have the obesity rates that we have. We didn't have the diabetes rates. Like we didn't have all this shit even 20 years ago that we have now. And I think people were worried about, being physically fit still and taking care of everything
I
else.
just, I don't think it
But
was much of a worry though, because it was
it
just
wasn't.
naturally there.
Yeah, because you could go outside or you could go do baseball practice with your kids and you're still
But
getting the physical activity enough to be like, well, I'm still
I,
okay.
I, I don't even think it's even that much though. You look at that generation right before us. They didn't have social media. They didn't really have internet. I mean, you and I were that middle-aged group where it was
We're on
that
the
fucking
cusp.
annoying
Yeah.
noise dial up, right? We didn't
Yeah.
have
Your
that.
AOL
So you
disk.
didn't so once that shit started, once everything was so easily accessible, that's where the issue started. Not to say internet's bad, technology is bad. I just think we're utilizing it wrong. And I say that because before then, that generation, the 70s, everybody's at the beach, everybody's fit. Majority of those people had active jobs. There wasn't a desk job where I sit on a computer and just deal with people. You know what
That's
I
true.
mean?
And even desk jobs were more active and physical.
Exactly. Even the time, I'm sitting at this desk. Well, I still got to run up here and do this. I got to run over and do that. I have to do this. You could literally spend your life sitting at a desk, getting up, taking a piss, taking a shit, eating some food, come back to your desk, and never have to do anything physical for work. That wasn't the case before the internet, before all this technology. And so
Yeah.
it was so much easier. It didn't matter what the fuck job you had. Even an awesome office lady, she's running all over the place because you couldn't just pick up and call somebody. I'm not gonna sit there rotor dial this shit. I'm gonna run 30 paces,
It'll
go
take me
talk to them
five. Yeah, it'll
instead.
take me
Right.
5 minutes to walk to the cubicle or
Now
the
it's
office next
it's
door.
literally, it doesn't matter. I'm in an office with Will. He's 15 feet away from me. I have to make it a point to not message like, hey, what are you doing with this, or what should we do this? I get my ass up and go talk to him just to make it the effort of. It's so simple. I could sit here all day long and not do a fucking thing. I could do sales for the fireplace company I work from. 90% of it is sitting here at my desk. That
Hmm.
was never a thing. That was
Right.
never an issue. So now that we have so much at our fingertips, we don't have shit at our legs.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. And that it totally runs us into the next topic. We talked about the physical health and really kind of how fucked
Right.
we are right now. But like when things get tough, what do you do? Right? And things are tough right now. What do you do? What's going to be the catalyst or what's going to propel you to do better? By better, I mean not do your job better, but take care of yourself better, take care of your mental health better, your physical health better. what do you do? You know what I mean?
And my perspective on that is you have to reach outside of the normal. It's so ingrained that this is normal that you don't have to do this. That I saw a meme.
You know what's fucking weird now? And I don't mean to cut you off, but you know what's fucking weird now?
Oh, no, you're good.
Going outside to take a walk.
Dude, nobody fucking does that.
It's like fucking weird now.
You have to plan it as a separate exercise as I'm going to go do this, where it used to be, I have to go walk, do this, I have to do that. Like, right, that's the whole point. Like, none of this, it's centuries upon centuries. Like, whether you listen to, and this is kind of leading to the, Anunnaki, or, Billy Carson and all his talk, like, we've been around here for 200,000 years, or none of that matters. For literally up until the last 25 years of, well, we're at 2024 now, okay? 25 years of zero. You got BC, then fucking AC. From zero. Out of the 2,000 plus years, we have 25. That's like 1% of that time frame, just from Christ, if that's what you're basing off of.
Not even 1%.
Not even 1%.
It's like less than 1%, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, where you have just this little portion of time where all of a sudden everything's fucking changed. Everything. And that 99.7% of the time before that, you had to go do things. You had to get up and get off your ass. You didn't just have the fucking world at your fingertips.
And that's the fucked up part, is because we
don't know. It's
all
the information.
We have all the information at our fingertips.
All of it.
If it wasn't for technology and everything that we've done, we wouldn't be doing this. You and I would not be doing this.
100%.
We'd have a VHS camera. We'd have somebody sitting in the corner with it on their shoulder. You know what I mean?
And I'd be driving out to your house, and I'd be sitting right next to you. We'd be doing it.
It'd still be physical, right? Because somebody had to move.
Now I'm 35 miles away from you. We just do, boom. Hey, Al, how you doing?
Our biggest conundrum today was, oh, my email address doesn't work. Let me sign in as somebody else. You know what I mean?
Wait, you know how I fix that? Phone call, speak phone. What's your? Okay, boom. Oh, we're in.
Boom. Yeah.
You know what happened when we were teenagers? I got to drive over to your house or pedal my bike to your house. Oh shit, it's not working. Now I got to pedal the bike to your brother's house. Oh, okay. Now I got to ride my bike back over there. Like, you know what I mean?
By the time we've rode our bikes back and forth, fuck it. Let's just ride bikes.
We're not doing it. Yeah,
we're
just
bikes.
not gonna do it.
Let's go to the 7-Eleven. Let's get a Slurpee, and we'll just ride bikes around the neighborhood until the street lights come on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's that simplicity. Like I said, we're at less than 1% of, even regardless of who you can look at any aspect of where people started. We are at such a small percentage with all this information. It's brand new to everybody. Nobody knows what the fuck to do with it.
So it's a double-edged sword, right? So we're talking about.
I mean, I feel like it's throwing knives going both ways, and you got 15 people throwing knives at each other.
Exactly, but how do you fix it?
You're fucked either way.
Yeah, how do you fix it? How do you go about fixing? Okay, I've sat on my ass all day. I'm fucking tired. I'm mentally drained from fucking retards being retarded. Oh shit.
Bless you.
Oh, and it's back.
Bless you again. And I'm a reverend, so it means something.
Yeah, no, you're ordained. You're right. You can marry people. You know, the cowboy hat.
Man.
How do you fucking figure that out? How do you go from sitting at home working because there's so many remote jobs? Don't get me wrong. I love the remote job.
Right.
I dig it. I've been
wrong with it.
I've been working virtual for 14 years. I love it.
Right.
You get all your shit done, hang out, wait for emails. If emails aren't coming in, you hang out, do things. You have time, right? And that's one of my issues too, is I have time, but I'm like, oh man, when the fuck is this zinger of an email going to come in where I'm like in the middle of maybe working out or maybe doing something, maybe going on a walk? Fuck. Now I got to go back to my computer and I got to fucking take care of this. Otherwise, because somebody in Congress says it's important, right? Because that's kind of where I'm at right now, is a lot of the stuff that I have to do goes to Congress. It goes to, it goes to, the pretty people, the important people, because they have no fucking idea what's going on and they have no clue how to problem solve. but people want to
Right.
point fingers, right? So I'm in that situation. So, I love, my boss and, our director and stuff like that because they're like, yeah, go out and set your time aside to reset yourself and go on a walk or do this or do that. And which
Which
is
is
really,
rare.
really fucking cool. Yeah, it's very rare, especially in the federal government. But like, how do you
Right.
get from point A to point B? How do you mentally unhandicap yourself to take care of yourself while getting the job done when it's not a
I
physical job?
I mean, if you want my opinion here, my opinion's going to be this. This all started with Henry Ford. And don't get me wrong, I love Henry Ford, mainly because I'm a huge fucking Ford fan. He's the one that started the 8-hour, 5 days a week work pen. The only way you're gonna get it, and they're trying to extend it. It used to be you'd work. It didn't matter what the fuck your job was. Once you left work, you left work. Because of technology, that's not the case.
Work work
You,
will
you're always
always
working,
catch you.
dude. I get emails for work. I get text messages from customers. I get countless things 24/7. Whether I respond or not is a different story, but I always have it on my mind now because it's nonstop. The fix isn't to force yourself to do it. The fix should start higher up to where, like, you work from this point to that point 3 to 4 days a week, whether it be, 40 hours a week if that's what you're trying to get. I think that's too much. I don't think the human was designed for that. We weren't designed to spend, 2/3 of our life working. We weren't,
No,
but that's what we're doing now.
but we're
The
doing it for
fix is
somebody
to
else.
cut back. Yeah, the
We're doing it
fix
for
is to
somebody
cut
else.
that back. It was a different story back when, farming. We've got the farm out in Cedar Fort. You go out there, but you're doing that for yourself. 100%. So if I go out there and I want to work and I'm going to do this, you're doing it for yourself. If you don't do it, okay, well, that's just a little less money you're going to have, but you're not going to lose your fucking job because you didn't do it. You're not going to be in the unemployment line
But you're
because you didn't
screwing
do it.
yourself if
But
you
not
don't do it.
necessarily.
If you don't do it, you're screwing
Not
yourself.
necessarily. In an essence, yes, but you can still cut it back. Like, hey, look, like I'm feeding the cows. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna work quick, but I want to take a 2-hour break so I can go watch my kids' performance at school. How
Hmm.
many jobs nowadays are going to give you, you work from a 9 to 5? How many of them are going to let you take more than a couple times a year of, hey, I need 2 hours off in the middle of the day?
I
Very, very
think
few are like that.
I think
Whereas
that
if you're farming and you're building your own crops, you're doing your own stuff, you'd be like, look, I could push this job off for 2 hours. I'm gonna go watch my kids' performance. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna have to work a little later, but I was able to make it there for their performance. Or they've got this stuff going on, so I'm gonna bust my ass to get it all done, but then I'm gonna make it home so I could have dinner with them.
wake
You're
up
able to guide
early
your own
and do it.
stuff.
And the thing
Right.
is, you bring up a point without actually bringing up a point. And I think that it's as far as like men's mental health go, and I've talked to a lot of people about this, about what is your job doing to make things better, to enrich your fellow man, to make just overall life better. What are you doing, right?
Right.
And there's a fuck ton of jobs that even my own, in some aspects, the day job, what am I doing to make things better? Am I actually having an impact on my fellow man to make their life, their existence better? And in some aspects, the work that I do can do that.
Right.
But the aspects of doing that get taken away by people that are politicians. Politicians
Oh,
politicians either by being elected or politicians by choice that are working in the organization that I'm working in.
right.
So I think that is a huge dividing line on you bring up farming and ranching and taking care of livestock and and doing those chores. I'm sorry, dude, but that sounds like a very enriching job. you do things because people are going to need this. Your family
Right.
needs this, these other people need this. And if you're doing that, then you're actually helping your fellow man. You're actually enriching society. You're doing the things that need to be done,
Right.
right? So that type of thing is something that I envy, that I think is very important. And I'm not saying that I'd be fucking awesome at it because I don't know what the fuck I'd be doing, but I'll tell you what, if somebody's telling me what to do and teaching me what to do, I'm going
You're
to
gonna
do
pick it
it.
up.
Yeah, I'm going to
Right.
pick it up. And that type of thing is huge. That's like an enrichment of people and kids and just, that whole,
It's a
that,
lifestyle.
yeah, that whole lifestyle and that type of thing is very appealing at this point because
But
you get something like you have a cause and effect, like an immediate cause and effect,
right.
and
It's
an
more of a
impact,
noticeable
whether,
product.
yeah, well, whether it be like you feeding the cows, okay, the cows aren't hungry anymore. You taking care of a sick animal, okay, the animal isn't sick anymore. You going out and like physically doing that and taking care of it,
Right.
that has a an impact, right?
Right.
Sometimes sitting behind a computer has no fucking impact.
So,
You
and
you
here
you know?
kind of gets to where I was talking earlier, is we're, I mean, in the aspect of where we are in the world, we're infants. I don't think we're fucking newborns, still shitting a little fucking black tar in our diapers because we just popped out of the womb,
Gotta
2 hours
Vaseline
ago.
it. Gotta
You know what I
Vaseline
mean?
it.
Like we are so premature in the generation that we're growing from. Farming, all that stuff was for centuries. That was the way of life. And then, that was just it for like thousands of years.
That's what
And
allowed
then
people
the
to stay in one
industrial
place.
lifestyle, right?
That's
Then
what it.
you had the industrial aspect where at the beginning they're probably doing the same shit. Like, what do I do? I don't know where my hands go. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like they had that aspect, but then that went on for years. It's been 100 years since industrial shit's been a thing, or it's been a push on that. So they grew it, they aspected, they understood it. Now we're at this technology phase, and like I said, we're literally like, as far as the world goes, we're still trying to fucking we're crowning. We haven't even come out yet.
Right.
We don't know what the fuck to do, how to handle it, how to maturely do it, and this kind of pushes towards like some of the stuff that we're supposed to talk later, the Anunnaki. This super advanced race that's been around for 200,000 years, supposedly, whether it's true or not. If you look at that in an aspect, they had so much time in those phases to grow, and we are so early on. I think it's so new, and we're going to either go one of two options as humans. We're going to go the option of like, we're going to figure the fuck out, it's going to be a stressful situation, like we were talking about lifestyle, like it's going to be pretty shitty growing up, but once we get there, we're like, hey, this is good, we're great,
Won't
we're
be so
fucking set
bad.
up. Or it's just gonna we did some stupid shit, we're gonna fuck up and we're gonna nuke everybody, the world's just gonna look like Mars.
Now we gotta go back. We gotta
But
figure
that's
this shit
because
out.
we're so early on in that stage, that I don't think there's really a way of saying you need to do this, or this is the right way, or this is the wrong way. We're just figuring it out. We got to figure out where we're gonna put our hands, and what the fuck. Oh, do I eat this? Oh no, that's fucking shit. Like that's the stage of life we are as far as like humans. And so
Yeah.
there's no real way of knowing.
Well, and there's really no, like, even talking about the food. There's no. We have an FDA that's bought and paid for, right?
100%.
So there's no checks and balances there, and uh, that right there just absolutely demolishes. It's going to demolish America,
Yep.
right? A weaker America is better for everybody else except for America.
100%.
We are the last standing, just beacon on a hill.
Free.
Yes,
Freedom.
and you know, I'm not one to follow anything that's going on in Europe, especially when it comes to, well, just Europe, period, or the
Right.
EU. But they've already banned so much of the shit that we eat here,
Oh,
right?
dude. Even if you like side by side Fruit Loops or whatever the fuck it is,
Yeah,
it's
Cheetos.
not the same thing we eat.
No. And the thing is don't get me wrong,
It's the same
like,
name. That's the only difference.
I love Cheetos, you know.
Oh, Flamin' Hot Cheetos are the shit.
Yeah,
You can't get them anywhere else.
no, you got to come to
Why is that?
America. You have to come to America to get your poison. But these things, going back, these jobs where you're working with your hands, and I will never say a bad thing about construction workers or tradesmen, period, because they're really the ones that are out there making this all work.
Oh, 100%.
Without them, there would not be power, there would not be internet, there wouldn't be any of these really easy
Shit.
things. Yeah,
We've been back in the fucking dark ages.
it'd be really fucking hot in my house right now. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And I got a fan going. I got the AC going. It's real nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, these creature comforts, man, these fucking rock. Like, I'm not gonna complain about that, but I'm also not gonna thank some tech millionaire for it. I'm gonna thank, the dude on the corner that runs an HVAC company, or
Right.
the dude on the corner that works for an HVAC company, or is the plumber, or anything like that. Like that, those
Or fireplace
things,
guy.
or the fireplace guy. You gotta stay warm. Gotta stay warm in the winter. We're talking about summer stuff, right? But yeah, those are things that are real. Those have a real impact on people, right? So when you go out to a house and you're like, no, your your stove is messed up. No, it's not that. This is why your fireplace is not working. You know, you actually have an impact on those people's quality of life.
Right. Well, and I mean,
If
everybody sees fireplaces and it's a luxury item, but here in Utah, it really isn't.
no,
Like,
the thing is, if the internet went down tomorrow, I would go to your house. You would come to my house. We would move on, right?
100%.
We would keep going.
100%.
We would keep going. You know, for me, my my work would go away, right?
Yeah,
That would suck. Okay, it's gonna make that a little bit harder to pay my bills, right?
I
But I'm
got
gonna
you.
but I'm gonna figure it out, right? I
Right.
know a fireplace guy, and I'm just gonna mooch off him. You know what? I'm gonna go work for the fireplace guy. I'm gonna go work for the freaking plumber. Like,
Or yeah,
you know
you're
what I
going to learn
mean?
plumbing. You're going to earn some sort of trade
Yeah.
that
I mean,
still,
that's the
whether
thing is, it's
internet's there or
like,
not, you need it.
yeah, that's the thing is like, if the internet goes away, and this goes away, like our communication like this goes away, that's gonna suck. That'll put us back. But you know what? You'll have to talk to your neighbor. You'll
Right.
have to talk to the people that are in front of you. You can't just like, even me, like, I don't know, like 75% of my neighbors don't care.
I've talked to one. I've been in this neighborhood for about 2.5 years. I've talked to one of my neighbors.
Right? So how do you build
One.
community? How do you build
I know
community out of
more
that?
of your neighbors.
I know, that's what I'm saying. And it's just because like we're outside hanging out, having
Right.
beer, or having drinks, smoking cigars, working on cars. Hey, that's cool.
And they
What are you
happen
guys
to come
doing?
by and say hi. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just like that. It the internet creates a community of people, but it also takes away your local community as well. So it's like the double-edged sword that we were talking about. And man, it's a really fucking weird place that we live.
Well, we went from like, even when we grew up as a kid, you rode your bike, you knew all the kids in the neighborhood, you knew all their
Hmm.
parents, you knew everybody. Even look at your kids now. Your kids don't know anywhere near what they know, what we would have known.
No.
And but yet, if you think about it, I mean, my daughter's 16 years old. Well, she might have 1,000 friends on social media, but how many in person do you actually know? How many can you call up and say, "Hey, I'm coming over. Let's have a drink. Let's barbecue. Let's do." None of them. I
No.
got fucking countless fucking social media friends. You know how many I hang out with? Like three.
Right. And so like we've talked about the drop by, right?
Right.
The drop by. You're in the
Well,
neighborhood,
I dropped
drop
by
by.
and you were home, but you
Right.
were home, but I
Well,
didn't know. But
well
nobody
that's
does that.
that's the thing is like And it's like, hey, are you not home? But you drop by. Hey, are you not home? No, I'm home. I'm in the basement. Oh, okay. Let me come up and open the door.
Right.
Or something like that. Or like, no, sorry, I missed you,
And nobody
bro.
do that no more.
Yeah, fuck, put a sticky note on my door. Hey, dumbass, I was here. You weren't.
Well, I
See
do
you
it in the
next time.
technology form. I send a picture of your garage and front door, and they're like, "Hey, I was there."
Right, but at
The
the
same
same
thing as a
time,
sticky note.
you know what I mean? Like, it's just different times and different understandings of, I don't know. Our social media was, hey, did you hear what happened last week? So and so crashed their bike and broke their arm. Oh,
Right.
maybe we should ride our bike over, you know, his or her
And
house
then
and
and it's that the telephone game where actually they just had a scratch, but 10
yeah,
different people told you, but you still went and found out, oh, it's just a scratch. We're good.
yeah. You went over to their house and all of a sudden you guys are all riding bikes around, you know,
Right.
and the battle's over. Nobody broke their arm. It was just a really bad scratch or somebody got stitches. You know what
Right.
I mean? Just stuff like that. It was so funny. Like we talk about just dumb shit like this and you know the latchkey kid type thing and
And I think we're going down, like as a society, I think we're going down the right path though. Because we are so new in this technology, it's with anything else. You give an 8-year-old fucking alcohol and drugs and shit, they're gonna do it all. And they're like, oh fuck, this is great. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, let's kind of tone this down. Let's do this a little bit of this. You know, you find what's good and what's bad and what actually works in this society. Social media, the internet, all of that shit, it's been because it's so new, everybody's like, fucking just do everything. You know, it's like you take a fucking 18-year-old kid and you put all the drugs in a fucking suitcase and all the alcohol, they're gonna do it the fuck all. They don't care. Well, I'm doing it all. But then over time, they're gonna learn like, well, this one's good for this one's good for that. Let's not do this one for this. And I think that's the stage that we're hitting as far as like with technology.
Uncle social media.
I think we're still pushing limits on some situations, but overall, we're like, hey, we can't have like all these people have this control. We shouldn't be doing all of this. Like, we're starting to learn and develop how this can impact our life in a good way, but not a negative way.
Right, but
But it's still so premature.
it's probably gonna have to go faster though, right?
Oh yeah,
Because like what you're saying is like we're at the infancy of it, and we're definitely in the infancy of figuring this shit out. But you know, how do we make sure we don't have I, how do we make sure that we don't have more than one generation? Sorry, I swallowed my own spit. How do we have more than one generation that isn't fucked, right? Because we probably have one or two.
right.
Like we
Oh yeah,
probably have like those kids that are like, I don't know, anywhere from like 14 to 20 right now that are absolutely getting screwed out of childhood. Like I personally
100%.
know these teenagers that are good kids that are absolutely just, I want to do school online.
My daughter is right
I don't
there in
want to,
that. I don't
I
want to
don't,
go to school. I don't want to do this. I just want to get it done and over with. I don't want to meet anybody. I don't want to deal with people. I'm doing that with my 16-year-old daughter right now. Little Merf hates going to school, hates doing that aspect. And it's trying to explain to her the good that comes from it. The shit that you and I went through. School fucking sucked.
just
Nobody
think
likes
like
school.
nobody did, but it was so much fun. Like you
But
had fun, especially
looking
in high
back
school.
now,
You
yeah.
got to go to dances, you got to go to football games and baseball games and basketball games, and it was like
You went to
massive
school for
social
6 hours out a
interaction.
day. You had fucking weekends off. You had summers off. Like, that's fucking perfect lifestyle right
That
there.
was a good time, but now like these kids want to just like blow people up on social media and be total douchebags, and like the
Yep.
parents are not holding their own kids accountable and everything. But just think about like the times that we had and the fun that we had in those types of situations and how much we learned about growing up.
Yeah.
And dude, I had so much fun.
It was, and even with like the childhood that I had and growing up, like looking back, like school was pretty fucking good. Like I met some good people. I experienced a lot of things in life. I was that kid that disappeared on my bike for fucking till the streetlights came on. I knew streetlights were on. I needed to bring my ass home. Like, we
And dude,
enjoyed that shit.
you knew that the next step from your bike was going to be, I'm getting my driver's license, and
100%.
everything is going to be awesome, you know?
Right.
And
We went through
you had
that.
like
And it,
3 awesome years of having your driver's license, right? From 16 to 18, where
well, that's 2
you were,
years, but
well,
math is hard.
I'm
Crayon
just saying,
eater.
depending on when your fucking birthday is, right? Um, but I mean, like, you you got to experience a whole lot. Like, you got to be out there, you got to be kind of adulty, you got to make your own decisions,
You have
and
responsibilities.
yeah, it was up to you to put gas in your car. You know, it was up
Don't
to you
fuck it
to,
up. Don't wreck it.
yeah, there was a whole lot of responsibility that you had, and situations you're like, oh man, I might have fucked this up. I hope my dad doesn't find out about this. That type of shit.
Oh, fuck yeah.
You know what I mean? But these kids are not going to get that. Like, and we've talked about the kids a lot and the type of situations that they're in, and now we're talking about the technology that's basically screwing us over, and the enrichment of kind of us and our families and everybody else. Let's take a break for a minute.
Hey friends, this is a Bote from the Bearded Viking. Just want to remind you that the flavors are going fast. Hurry up and get one of the first 4 or all 4 of the first 4 while you still can at beardedviking.com. And when you get them, grab a buddy. Remember, June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So grab a buddy, have a meetup, talk to your guys.
Back into it. So we've talked about really kind of where we're at right now, and
Right.
kind of how screwed the kids are, at least from like 14 to probably 20. And
I say 14 to about 29, but
I don't think it's that bad because I've seen a
have you
lot of
tried to
hope.
hire anybody that's 29? It's that bad.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. I can
Work
get down.
ethic is shit. Like not like to cut you off too much, but like right now, like I work with a few different companies. I've got my own companies. Like work ethic is trash because of where people are and how things are raised. And I think the only main thing to blame is it's all this technology. And
Yeah.
everybody wants that easy job, that get go, like I want to be a millionaire instantly, or fucking IG famous, or face place, or fucking TikTok, or whatever the fuck your shit is. It's destroyed that work ethic of I need to build something.
Well, and that's definitely one of the bigger problems, right? Is
Right,
everybody wants to come in and they want to be making $100,000,
right,
right? And they see people that are like you and I that are not young, but not old, but still doing well,
right.
right? And they think, you know what? Those guys probably started out like that. But there's not the, you know what? I'm going to be the janitor of this company, and then one day I'm going to be the CEO. You
No, it's
know,
gone. I mean,
working
think
from the
about it
bottom
even
up.
this way. Like we had a conversation. You and I, like I said, you're my brother. I tell you, you probably know me better than most people on this planet. There's shit tonight on a podcast you're just now learning about me.
Right.
Because people in my shoes, people in your shoes, they don't know what we went through. All they see is where we're at now. And they just assume, oh, it was just here. It was just like a fucking silver platter. Here you go.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good point. And it might not be a point that we've really made a whole lot of. You can tell me if I'm wrong. You've listened to them, listen to the podcast and stuff like that. But we have, I don't think, really made the point that, yeah, you have to start at the bottom and work your way up. You don't just start here. There is the easy path. The easy path is like, for a female, showing your boobs and showing your butt online. That's the easy
and
path.
get a 1099 of the year for fucking
Yeah, you're gonna make
$1
a
million.
shit ton of money. You're gonna have a bunch of dudes that are subscribing to just see you naked for $3 a month or whatever the fuck it is. You know, that type of stuff is just like legalized prostitution, right? You just don't get to
100%.
touch. You know,
Oldest form of fucking business there ever has been.
yeah. But I mean, when we were
Brothels.
growing up, you just go to the
This is a
strip
new age
club.
version.
You're just going to the strip club. You still can't touch. You know what I mean? But
you at least see the like physical shit.
yeah,
it's not
it's
a
live,
picture on
real,
your
and
phone.
uncut. You know, if somebody trips on the stripper stage and they fall down, it's still funny.
I'll give you guys this credit, and like I said, like I listen to all the fucking podcasts. That's like I enjoy listening to it. It's my quiet time. It's my me time, is listening to it. Especially I've known you a long time. I know you very well. I know JT very well. You guys definitely touch on it. I mean, you guys call it the bearded Viking way. Like we're gonna fucking figure it the fuck out. We're gonna make it happen. And there's definitely been details of certain things, of aspects in life that you guys have gone through. But I would say, like, knowing you, knowing JT, I know there's way more struggle than you guys discuss.
Oh,
and
yeah,
as a man
100%.
that hates talking about it, I don't like talking about my struggle. But I think nowadays, as hard as it is, and a big reason that I'm opening up about the shit that I am is I think people in the younger generation need to understand the struggle that I've gone through, that you've gone through. Like this shit wasn't here. I've gone through hell and back. I fucking clawed my way up through fucking bloody trenches and whatever the fuck it may be. I'm here now because I put in the effort and I continue to push forward. I don't think there's enough examples nowadays of like, look, this is the shit we went through to get here. Like the detail. There's the touch on it. Like, yeah, it sucked. We did it the Bearded Viking way. We learned the hard way. But then you guys kind of leave it at that. Not to talk bad on you, but not everybody knows your story. You know what I mean? And
it's a perfect.
And we grew in a generation where we didn't have to give that example out because so many people live that same thing. But now we're in a generation where there's so many people that don't see that don't know that all they see is my parents have a lot of money now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to do anything. I play video games. Like this shit should just be given to me. I think they need more examples from successful people and this is something even Andy Frizelli's talked about, like people that have gone through the fucking trenches to get where they're at and give the details of the backstory. Not I started as shit, but now I'm a millionaire, figure it the fuck out, or started as shit, now we got this mead company. It was hard, but it is, or like, I think, and again, not a shot on anybody specific. This is just more so what I feel the upcoming generation needs.
It's just an observation. It's an observation.
The upcoming generation needs to see this to know that that's how things work.
You know, and it's really, what you're saying is a really good observation, and one that, you know, we haven't really thought of. And I think that's a good part of what we do, you know, on this podcast and what we try and do daily. And what you're saying is, I think we need to do that more. We need to tell everybody and show everybody the opposition that we go through. Right. And I think that's a really, really good point and a really good idea and example because, you know, we do the podcast for veterans and men's mental health and stuff like that too. But there could be a portion, a really good portion in the future for these kids that are coming up and they don't know the adversity that it takes to get to where we're at and to get to, surpass us, right? Because we're trying to build a culture of let's propel each other. Let's stop talking bad about everybody. Let's stop running people down. You know, and what we say on here isn't necessarily even like today, for example, what we're talking about with Andy and Joe and stuff like that. We're not running them down. We're just saying we're at different stages in our life. Right. And I want to learn how to get there. And we're younger than they are. So us wanting to learn how to get there and learning the steps to get there is us seeking knowledge, right?
100%.
So the people that are listening to us, we're not driving them down or talking bad about them. We're talking they have a different lifestyle and a different mentality of how to get there.
Well,
And
and I don't think they
have
see the details. Like, even if you look at history, like, I mean, you could talk about all the way back to whoever. I mean, Einstein. You talk about, the Apple dude, whatever the hell his name is. I fucking don't pay attention. I hate Apple. But there's all of these huge name people that didn't figure their shit out until their 40s or, 45, or, you know what I mean? Like, people just assume this shit is instant. But if you look at history and actually pay attention to it, not just hear the cliff notes of, hey, this dude did this, this, and this, and he was great, but hear the cliff, the failure, exactly, the failures and what it is. Like, none of that's getting taught. All they see is the social media aspect of it. Everything's fucking perfect, everything's instant, everything's great.
We saw their face. They did this, and now they're fucking huge.
Exactly. They don't see the struggles anymore. When you and I grew up, and the generations before us, they saw the struggles. They saw their parents going through this, because a lot of times parents were fucking idiots. They didn't have condoms. They didn't fuck around. They had kids young age. So we saw the struggles, then we saw the success. Nowadays, parents are having kids at older ages. They're already successful. They're already set up. So all
the kids never got to see the struggle.
They don't see the struggle. Exactly. And that's the hugest thing to build a person's
fucking
mentality.
Example of what you're saying. A perfect example of what you're saying is my kids did not see the struggle.
So
never.
I'm going to read this off right now. I pulled this off. So, and I'm sure you saw this. This is my 16-year-old daughter, Lil Merf, Sarah Beth. My first kid. This is what she posted on Father's Day. And this kind of explains, in a 16-year-old's perspective, and that's just like me, it's kind of going to be fucked up. This was what she posted. Happy birthday. Thank you for raising me to be a better man than most of the dudes these days. Come in handy. You raised me to take no shit, but always be respectful, and it's definitely paid off. Thank you for coming back after getting milk. Thank you for pushing me to my limits and above, and always expecting nothing but the best out of me. I may be a pain in your ass, but you'll always be the man I look up to and go for help. Maybe one day we could build a high boy Ford just like you wanted. You're rough around the edges, but you've never doubted that you really love me. But I've never doubted that you really love me. You give me a hard time, and I know I've tested your patience and pushed every button, but you still would drop anything to be there for me. Thank you, Dad. Like that meant the world to me. That's
a great sentiment. That's it.
But it fits in the situation of there's not a lot of kids that see that aspect from their parents anymore. My daughter's seen me struggle. She's seen this success. She didn't grow up and also had a 67 Mustang in the house and all this shit. She saw the struggle that went to it, what built to it, and then me selling it and the struggles after that and the struggles that I deal with. I'm open with my daughter of what the struggles are. And I think a big part of what our society is missing is the struggle is just hidden. You don't struggle. Social media, it doesn't matter which friend you look at on social media, you see the good in life. You don't see any of the struggles.
Everybody's having a great life. Yeah.
Right. Life's perfect, but that's not what life is. Life is about struggles to get there, and you have to show that.
It's the ups and downs. It is definitely the ups and downs. It's the peaks and valleys. I think that what she wrote it's a great sentiment, and it's a good example of, we don't have a whole generation lost, right?
Right. And I still think there's the opportunity there. Well, the things that I see what you do with your kids, like you say, they don't see the struggles and stuff like that, but I see how you raise your kids. You still make them earn it. You still make them work for it. And even like you say, and well, it's different. You're even doing more than what most are. There's so many out there that they coddle their kids and they show them like there's no bad in life and everything, that it just doesn't exist. Your kids understand that.
I think the veteran community, and I'm singling out the veteran community because I know a lot of the veteran community, And
Right.
we talked about this, I think, a little bit on the last podcast, that the veteran community, I think, instills a little bit more in their kids and talks about the struggle a little bit more with them than people that weren't in the military or that didn't
Right.
have the military background. And when I say my kids never saw the struggle, I mean, they never saw mom and dad poor, scraping for pennies, not knowing if we have enough gas money, not knowing,
Right.
not knowing that stuff, right? Because we waited. We waited to have kids until we felt comfortable enough that, hey, let's have kids. Let's bring some kids into this world. And
Right.
let's do our best, you know. And but we planned it, right? We planned when we were going to have kids. We planned how we were going to do it. And we got lucky, right? The the majority of people don't have that where they're
Right.
planning to have kids, right? Kids
Well, I
happen.
never had that. I
Kid,
got 3 kids. Not one was fucking planned.
that's what I'm saying is kids happen, The power, the TV reception's really bad, and you got to figure out something to do. You got to stay warm
We're
in the
getting
winter.
serious. The hat's coming off.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
But again, you make a good point. But there is definitely a difference, the kids that I have never got to see the struggle. So I feel like, using me and them as an example, I have to show them the things that, hey, this is not easy. You don't just get this. You have to work for it. You have to do these things and take these steps to be successful. And my kids never got to see the struggle, but I feel like they will understand what it's like to have a struggle. And what your kid just sent, what your kid sent to you for Father's Day, I think that is a beautiful understanding of seeing their parent work through things and keep working through things. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, and I see both sides of it. I never wanted my kid to see that there was a struggle. Granted, it happened. Whatever. I worked through it with her. Not the best at showing emotions with anybody in the fucking world, but I did what I could for her. And you guys had a little bit better of an opportunity of planning it. And I think this is huge on the veteran aspect of it, is we know struggle is important. Struggle builds you who you are. So even though your
Character.
kids didn't see it, yeah, 100%, your kids didn't see it, you still ingrain that in them.
Yeah.
And
Well,
most don't do that. They want to be like, oh no, I struggled or I saw my parents struggle, so I'm going to hide that from my kids. You don't see that. Like you said, you don't see that in the veteran community. You don't see that in families that actually are struggling and want to work forward and push.
well, and the thing that I feel like, and I will throw the bearded Viking family out there 100%, is there's not a single person in the bearded Viking family that has not pulled themselves up by the bootstraps and worked their way up. Like there is not a single person, period. And I include you in the bearded Viking family because you're very much in the bearded Viking family and in the Vok family. You're part of my family.
Right.
There's not a single person in this organization that has not gone through those hard times, that strife, those difficult times, and that has made themselves successful, right? Everybody in the organization has made themselves successful at their own doing, their own hard work, and now we're trying to build this thing. We're
Right.
trying to we're trying to build a mead company, right? We have done everything the bearded Viking way, which has been the hard way, right?
Guaranteed.
We have done it the hard way because we didn't know any other way. But we've continued to work hard and work harder than everybody else around us when it comes to building this thing. And right now, this thing is still precious, right? It'll always be precious to us. It's building, it's growing, it's gaining momentum. People are starting to realize, oh, hey, these guys are actually making a good product, right? And this is a separation from the VOC side versus the Bearded Viking side, but we're starting to see just that glimmer, right? That glimmer of these people love this. We're making something different. We're making something good, and we're trying to make a difference on the other end. Whether you drink, whether you don't drink, whether whether you like our booze, whether you don't like our booze, we want you to be part of our tribe. We want you to be part of our culture, that type of thing. And dude, the struggles and strife, there's no way this company would be successful or where it is now if it wasn't for the struggles and strife. Period. We're always going to have some kind of struggle. We're always trying to make things work, and people don't see that. Just like your point before, people don't see what it takes to be successful, the hard work that it takes, and the hard roads that you have to take to get there. And I agree with you. I think that we probably need to talk about that more and outline it to people. And whether you're, a new listener, whether you're young or whether you're old, I think that that's important, because I think that goes along with the men's mental health approach that we're going after. This shit is not built overnight. We've gone through some shit times. We've worked our asses off, and credit to Vico. That dude is working every day and every night to make this work and make it possible.
But there's a huge difference of BVMC, okay, the Bearded Viking Mead Co. Regardless of if people just getting to know everybody here or have known everybody from the start, the main difference is where you and I are right now. We're on a fucking podcast talking about men's mental health and the struggles and shit like that. BVMC is not a company that's like, well, I just want to get rich and fucking make money and I don't give a fuck about anybody else. As soon as there was even the opportunity of it, everybody in the company's like all on board, like, hey, let's do this. Let's have a podcast. Fuck, who cares if anybody listens or if we get 1 million listeners? It's not the point. It's get the message across that it's not all just fucking cupcakes and rainbows and fucking unicorns. That there's struggles in life, that people are going through it. And you guys, and I've listened to it. The only one fucking podcast I didn't like, you guys didn't talk about men's mental health awareness, and you guys heard about it instantly. Is the fact that you guys fucking do this shows enough about your characters and the company is on its own that, like, it's a drive to, yes, we want to make money. We want to be successful, but it's not about the money and the success. It's about leaving a fucking imprint on the world, and not leaving the imprint of like, fuck everybody, we made money, y'all can go to hell, y'all gonna work for us, you're gonna fucking, it's gonna be a sweatshop in the middle of nowhere. It's the imprint of the mentality that the BVMC has of, we want fucking stronger people. We want to be surrounded by better fucking people. We want to reach out and help fucking better people. And that's what you guys have been doing. That's the biggest push. Like, regardless of how I know you, how I know JT, none of that fucking matters, because the shit that you guys are doing with the podcast and reaching to people and the fucking meetups and the conversations and the talks, that's what shows BVMC fucking cares about where the US is going, where the world is going, and wants to fucking better it. Again, we're new at it. You guys are new at it. Nobody knows what the fuck's going on, but you guys are doing what you can. Having a conversation, because as we all know it, we're men. We're not supposed to have feelings. We're not supposed to discuss our feelings. We're not supposed to cry. We're not supposed to do that shit.
Right.
We nobody knows it. Nobody knows our shit. But you guys are having that fucking hard conversation. You guys have manned up. You, JT, the Bote, fucking Ryan's rants, and now I'm on here. Like, these are the people that have been on there. These are, like, you guys are the ones that are fucking having the hard conversations that men aren't supposed to have. But in reality, there's got to be a balance. It's not like the old school way of, you just man the fuck up, you do your shit, you fucking die, and then people might remember you, or this new fucking version of men are fucking bitches and they don't do a goddamn thing. Like, you guys are trying to find that balance of, we need to be men. We need to be fucking toxic. We need to still open the goddamn doors for women. We need to fucking slap their ass. We need to fucking take the responsibilities of life and hold it on our shoulders so the women around us in our lives and the kids around us in our lives don't have to do it. But you still have to have that outlet where I'm sitting here with my fucking bro, my brother, fucking Al, or fucking Bender, or whatever the fuck you, Jarl. It doesn't matter his fucking name. At the end of the day, I'm having a conversation with this dude so other people can understand that it's okay to do that. Like, you got to have that outlet. You don't have to fucking tell the world. You don't have to post on social media all your sympathies and all your fucking sadness, but find that group or that person and have that hard conversation with them. That is okay.
Well, and it's talking about, the enrichment of the people around you and the culture, and making sure that if you see those signs, that you have the opportunity to reach out, and you jump on that opportunity to reach out, especially when somebody might need it, when you see that something might not be going right, something might not be, as it seems, because of social media, because so much of our communication is social media, and so many of the signs of, somebody having a hard time is on social media. And having that, we talked about technology being shit and, being a double-edged sword, but right now this is like, the back of the sword, the shiny part of the sword, is we get to see those types of things. We get to see the enrichment of people around us in the culture, and going after trying to make everybody feel like they're part of something, and being happy to have them part of something. And if you see the signs, reach out, help somebody,
Right.
go talk to somebody, show up, have a meetup.
But again, the difference in the culture is as many social media friends. I got all the fucking platforms. I got all the bullshit because I do it for business, photography, whatever the fuck business I'm doing. I got to reach out. As many people as that I have on there, you are the guy. I mean, I think I knew you about a year because we have these conversations. We have this fucking, me. You don't just see my social media shit where all of a sudden, like, I wasn't saying nothing and I went fucking silent for a few days, and all of a sudden fucking good old Al here blows up my fucking phone. Like 50 fucking text messages, ignored phone calls, and he's like, finally he sent me a message. If you don't fucking answer my call, I'm going to show up your house. I'm already getting in my car. Like, you saw that. And it's not because we're just social media friends. It's because we've had the hard talks. You know my signs of, and I'm probably the biggest stubborn motherfucker that doesn't tell anybody my shit about my feelings other than I'm great. Like, I got that Steve-O smile. I'm good. That's all everybody sees. But even then, even only knowing you a year, you fucking saw the signs of, like, this dude's going through some shit. I'm going to blow the fuck up out of his phone. I'm going to show up his house. And you make the steps. That's not a cultural thing anymore. That's not a normal thing. And we need to get back to that. We need to
make
know.
it normal.
Yeah, we need to know. Again, it doesn't have to be the whole world knows, but every man out there needs that few people, or that one guy, or that other person, male, female, they, them, fucking LGBT, A, B, C, D, F. It doesn't fucking matter. Everybody needs that one person that they know is going to see when things are going bad.
Well, and just
military, you've done it. Suicide is huge. Suicide with veterans is huge, but along men, I mean, it's a fucking 80% more men do it than women, and there's a reason for it, because men never feel that there's never been that connection of, there's this person that can trust me or see what the fuck I'm going through, because I can't tell you. I'm not a man if I tell you that, fuck, dude, I'm hurting right now. Yeah. And we have to get past that, but we cannot stretch it up to where, like, we need tampons either.
No, well, and the thing is it's like, I think that everybody should definitely have somebody that's going to be able to recognize the signs. And, you know, there's, I'm not going to say that there's not, but I'm going to say that there's very, very few individuals that are 100% solo, just by themselves, that, don't talk to anybody or anything. And I'm saying that it's not touchy-feely to reach out to your buddies and make sure they're okay. And if somebody is not coming back to you, eh, get after them. Absolutely get after them, because getting after them and being a pain in their ass and making them text you back, just like the situation that you gave, that if you're not fucking texting me or calling me back, I'm going to be a pain in your ass, and I'm going to be a pain in your ass until I hear back or hear something. And I just want to know that you're okay. And I feel like that there's a whole lot of people that can recognize those signs too, especially with the people that they're friends with and everything else, friends with, acquaintances with. There's been times where it's like, got to make sure that person's okay. Or if you just get the feeling, dude, I'm telling you right now, you get your spider sense starts tingling.
Yep.
Your spider sense starts tingling, and it's like, man, I haven't talked to so and so for a while. Reach out, dude. Reach out. Just, hey,
Dude,
what's up? You okay?
I
You
couldn't
good?
I
What's been
couldn't
going on in
agree
your
with
life?
you. I couldn't agree with you on anything else more so than I can with this. And this is, and you can attest to, as a Marine, you're trained to trust your gut. Law enforcement, you're trained to trust your gut. I think that's kind of a lost thing where people don't really trust their gut. But when you get that feeling or that random thought of, I haven't talked to this person before, I want to reach out, there's a good fucking reason for it, and you should follow through with it. And I think that's a lost art.
Yeah,
Trust your
I do
gut
too.
more than anything.
I do too. And we've talked about it, right?
Oh, we have.
On this podcast before, where, dude, we might be a collective consciousness, but we're all tied together some way, somehow, whether it be through thought, whether it be through electrical signals, whatever it might be, right? We can't nail it down because we're
Right.
just
We're
not
not
that
meant to be.
we're not that
I don't think we're
smart.
meant to nail it down.
We're not
We
that
just need to
smart.
trust it.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, dude, if you have a feeling, reach out and touch somebody. You know, be I know this is old school. You remember the Marine Corps? You reach out, AT&T, reach out, touch somebody. You know,
Oh,
be
100%.
yeah, be the phone book, dude. If you feel that you have that thought, hey, I haven't talked to this person in a long time, reach out, talk
And
to them.
what's funny is, again, by the time this podcast airs, I'm gonna be now 37 years old. And up until the last few years, for the most part, I've gone through some fucking crazy shit in life that nobody had any clue about. They didn't pick up on the signs because nobody was close enough to me to know. And now all of a sudden I'm in this place in life where, like, if I don't respond to somebody in a few days, I got the fucking Bote reaching out, I got fucking Jarl reaching out, I got fucking Vico reaching out, I got fucking Bond reaching out. I got all these motherfuckers that all of a sudden I'm like, God, I'm good, okay? I just wanted
I
to
was
take a
taking a
couple
nap.
days. Yeah, I was just fucking sleeping, or I was up in fucking house property. I don't have a service. My bad. I'll give you a warning next time. But it's not a bad thing. It's the fact that, like, to have that, I got motherfuckers that all of a sudden, if I don't say shit for a few days, where the fuck you at, asshole? Nah, I'm
Yeah,
good. We're good. This is what's going on. And more men need that in their life. They need that group. They need that tribe. And I think, again, I mean, Tito, I can name out fucking, dude, I met people for the BVMC that have been part of it for a while that, when I went up for the grand opening that I just met, that these motherfuckers are reaching out to me. I met them at the grand opening. I'm in person the first time, one time for a couple days. Like, it's just that tribe that the BVMC is building of just caring about people around you. It doesn't matter if I've known you a week. It doesn't matter if I've known you fucking 20 years. you're somebody that's in my life now, and if something seems off, I'm gonna fucking check on you. And every person in the BVMC does that. Every single fucking one of them.
Well, see, and I think an important thing to stress is that we want the people in the BVMC to do that. It's not a requirement, but we want people around, and we want people to reach out. Like, that's the culture that we want. Is if you're in the BVMC and you're part of the team, reach out. And it's kind of like
Well, I'm gonna interrupt you real quick though,
okay.
before you finish that thought. I don't think that it's just it's not part of BVMC, because I'm prime example. I've known JT long before this shit started. I've known a lot of you guys since this started. I'm not part of the BVMC. I support you guys. I do pictures for you guys. I'm there for you guys. Anything that you guys need, I'm there for you. But I'm not part of the company as a person. That I don't have any financial interest in it. I don't have anything there. And yet, because your culture is the way it is, people that I just met May 4th for the fucking grand opening, like, I'm part of the tribe. I'm not even the company. I'm part of the BVMC tribe. Like, you guys see that as, if you're part of BVMC in any way whatsoever, you listen to the podcast, you reach out, you talk to us in one way or another. I met your dude that you were stationed at Okinawa with. Dude added me on Facebook, comments on my shit. Yeah, like, the dude's fucking legit. Like, it's just that type of people that you guys surround yourself with because of the character that you are.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's important, right? I feel like if you're gonna surround yourself with people and you're gonna build something, then you have to have quality people around, and you have to have people that are gonna take care of each other. Because if you're not taking care of each other, who's gonna do it? Right? Because we're all dudes. And a lot of us were in the military, some of us weren't. Even the dudes that weren't in the military they go through strife. They go through issues. Yeah. They have problems. Hey, dude, you all right? And sometimes that's all it takes, and sometimes you just need that prompt. You need to send that prompt for somebody to be like, you know what, dude, I'm not okay. Like, this is what's been going on. This is how this is how I feel. Stuff like that. And it's not touchy-feely. It's not, demasculating or whatever. No. It's nothing demeaning or anything like that. It's just dudes taking care of dudes,
100%. And we need that.
Yeah. And I don't understand. I take that back. I digress. I understand the culture of wanting to push each other down. And I think with age and wisdom and stuff like that, and I mean, people that knew me 15 years ago more than 50, 20 years ago, may be like, that dude's a fucking douche. Like, that's not the way it was then. But the way of thinking now, for me at least, is I don't want to push you down, dude. I want to prop you up. And if I had ever at any point pushed you down, dude, let me know what you're doing now. I want to prop you up. Like, I'll pump you up as much as I can. And it was just, it's hard now. Even so, the best example I could have is like baseball, right? I know I go back to baseball a lot. It's a big part of my life. It's a big, huge love lost, right? I feel like I could have done it. A lot of people around me feel like I could have done it. But the people around me at the time wanted to just prop themselves up. They didn't care about anything else. The more shit they could talk, the better. Right?
Right.
And even like the team, right? The team that we almost took state with and everything else. We played as a team. right? We worked as a team, but a lot of times outside off the field, we were not a team, right? We didn't give a shit about each other. We didn't prop each other up. We didn't do any of that. But hindsight's 2020, right? I wish I wish now I could go back and change that culture, or at least have a little bit of hindsight now to just pump each other up, because if we would have pumped each other up instead of outside of it bringing each other down, we would have been unstoppable, right? And I think that's a good example of now how if we just keep pumping each other up, propping each other up, and you know, just giving everybody the gas around us that's trying to do good and trying to build a business, trying to do better, dude, that's going to make so much of a difference. And I can honestly say that, I fell into that culture then, but it was wrong. It was wrong. You know, you're young, you're dumb, you have no idea. That's what's around you. That's what you're going to fall into. And I wish that wasn't the case. I feel like we would have all done so much better if we would have pushed each other forward instead of holding each other back. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
100%.
now I want to take the opportunity that I have now to just absolutely freaking push like my guys forward. I want to push the company forward. I want to push you forward. You know, Mike or the Mikes, their podcast. I want to push them forward. They're doing awesome. Like, I love that shit. I want to see these people. I don't even care if they're doing better than us. I want them to do freaking awesome.
See, but you know what you're hitting on right here? And it's something that if you read the books, if you listen to podcasts, whatever your thing is, it's that mentality that if you're the smartest person in your circle and you're in the wrong circle.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And we've
that
talked about
mentality
that.
of, yeah, you guys have talked about that. If you're, the only successful one in your circle, you're in the wrong circle.
Yeah, get a
And then
different
you're
circle.
literally discussing about like what is huge in society that should happen is, and I think with age you've picked that up. Like I used to hang out with fucking people. They want to party, they want to do shit, the stupid shit. What it didn't matter. I didn't. Not a 90% of them didn't have fucking jobs. I was getting fucking disability from the military. That was covering my shit. I can go drink every day of the week. It doesn't matter. When I started surrounding myself with successful people, I can tell you this much. Out of the people that I hang out with, I am the least successful. And I see that as a win for me. I have people that are building businesses, that have a law firm, that own $1 million businesses, that teach people that own $1 million business. Like I surround myself with amazing people that are just fucking super successful. And I am so happy that's where I'm at. I'm at the bottom of the barrel. I don't see that as a bad thing. I see that as I have nothing but up to go. I have all these people around me that literally prop me up, people that have knowledge that I can reach out to about anything and be like, hey, whoa, look, this is what I'm doing with my business. I'm trying to start this. I'm trying to do this. What would you do? And I have so much more stuff than like when I was in my party days and everybody. If I would have talked to somebody about that about fucking a business, well, fuck, I don't know. Google that shit or fucking Yahoo that shit or whatever the fuck it was.
Mm-hmm.
But like I I by far the people that I spend most of my time with, I am the least successful in it. Doesn't mean that I'm in a fucking shitty spot. That doesn't mean that I'm not successful.
No, not at all.
But I've surrounded myself with people that are that they're further along the process than I am. And it's knowledge. That's all it is. Knowledge, like fucking knowledge is power, guy.
Well, and the thing is too is like the strife that you've gone through, the different segments of life that you've gone through, the divorce, the Marine Corps, the divorces, the cop, the massive amounts of PTSD, pulling yourself up. That's the thing is like it's not that you're behind, that you went through different stages that everybody else did.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, if you're not with a group that's going to pick people, or that you're like, hey dude, I want to try this. I want to start this business. I want to do this. And they're not trying to give you ideas and trying to help you out, or saying like, you know what, I know a guy that's done this before, and push you over there to pick their brain, you're probably with the wrong tribe, because you definitely want to be with the tribe that is going to help you be successful. And that tribe should be really happy if you end up making more money than them. Who the fuck cares?
Who cares?
You
That's still my tribe.
It does not matter. It does not matter.
But and this is what I was going to get to as well on that is, like I said, in the group of people that I spend with, I'm the least successful. But I could tell you, everybody else in that group still has reached out to me for my knowledge. It's not that I don't bring anything to the table. It's not that I'm trying to grow. It's not none of that. It's because they see I'm in these groups with people that are so successful because they see the drive in me that I want to be successful, that I'm not going to fucking quit, that I'm going to push and do whatever the fuck it takes to get where I need to get. But I also have a lot of knowledge in different aspects of life. Like we've been talking tonight, like my history, my things, like there's different growth that I could bring to the table. There's, because of the stuff that I've gone through, I've experienced things in life that most people haven't experienced.
Right.
And I can bring that to the table, and it's a mutual back and forth thing. Like you have the business and the aspects of all these things in life, but then I have these other things, like these things that you could think of that, well, shit, I didn't see it that way, but I could see how that could benefit me in the business aspect or whatever it is. And then it just keeps, we all just keep growing together. Like we're just looking for the next level, the next level. Like we don't see that like this is our level here and that's where we want. No, it's always the next level.
Well, and it's that whole adage, failure breeds success. I'm sorry, but it does. I mean, you have to fail, because if you don't fail, you don't learn anything. If we just started this and it was nothing but success, how would we know anything? How would we know what to do? You know what I mean?
It's the mentality of that light bulb dude. I didn't find one way of doing a light bulb. I found 500 ways not to do a light bulb.
Exactly. And
you know what I mean?
all that failure. Dude,
not throwing any name bombs on this because that's the whole time.
not gonna throw any shade on the guy that couldn't make the light bulb.
But he got it. He eventually got it. And he learned 600 something ways of how not to make one. But then he made one.
So do you want to get into like some paranormal shit, some conspiracy shit?
I mean, I think it's a good side. Like I feel like we've discussed a lot.
We've been getting after it for a while, right?
Yep.
So I feel like we, you being a fresh host, fresh meat, or fresh co-host in fresh meat, feel like we've really burned through some topics, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's been all good info, and I could only hope that one person gains from it. One person gains from anything we talked about. It's a win in my book.
Yeah, one and pass it on,
Yep.
I agree 100%. I think that we should get into the conspiracy, the paranormal.
Ooh, spooky stuff. Because I got some stories that I don't think you even know about.
I probably don't, and I'm really excited to hear them. Before that, though, should we take a break?
Let's take a break real quick. Stretch our legs. Get ready, because
stretch out.
I got some shit for you that you may. All
right. It might end up being a 4-hour podcast.
Hey, you know what? If the boat's got to go through it, I'm fine.
The boat loves.
Because I was telling him when he was bitching about a 1-hour podcast, and I'm like, no, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. People will fast forward. If they don't want to hear fucking men's mental health, they'll move on. If they don't want to hear the end, they'll listen to the men's mental health. There's always going to be listeners. Coming from somebody that has listened to every one of these and drives around all day. There's been podcasts that have taken me a week to get through. There's some that I fucking will binge through the whole day. It don't matter.
You know what?
It's going to be there.
You know what's really cool about that is that you actually have, right? I would not, wish on my worst enemy that they had to listen to me for 3 hours. But the fact that you've listened to it and actually, got something out of, you know, me and Vico going through it or me and the boat going through it and passed it on, that means a ton, right? It means a bunch. It goes back to, propping each other up, and you didn't have to listen to it. Nobody else has to listen to it, right?
Fuck, did I talk to you guys every day? I don't need to listen to it.
Right. You listen to our bullshit on the phone when we're talking over text, But it's I think it's really cool. I think it's a very enduring quality of, what you do and the things that you do. And I can't throw enough compliments at you and the people, like Nick and everybody else that listens to the podcast, long form and enjoys it and gives us feedback, talk shit. It doesn't matter whether it's good or bad, dude. Like, we take it all in stride, and we've changed the format. We've done a whole bunch of different things just based on your guys' feedback.
What everybody says. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we want to make sure that everybody's getting something out of it.
Here's the thing, like I was discussing, my goal in life is to wake up and at least improve one other person's life each day. Okay. I talk to you guys all the time. I've known you guys a long time. Listening to this shit's my peace. And again, it's not because I want to hear your fucking voice. And I'll sit in the truck driving around because I'll drive 3, 4, 5 hours a day.
And
I'll be cussing you motherfuckers out like, no, you're fucking wrong with this. No, it's like this. But like, you know how many times I've talked to myself, fucking listen to this shit, like, nah, these guys are wrong. Or I'll answer you like, oh, I think it's this, and or you start to say something, I'm like, well, it's this. And then also one of you gets on, oh, it's this. I'm like, yes, I fucking knew it. How many times I do that shit? But like, I enjoy it because the stuff you guys are talking about resonates with me, and it's stuff that I could be having a shitty ass day, but I could be like, fuck this, I'm gonna listen to these assholes and I'm gonna get a laugh out of it at the very least.
Well, yeah, and it's like, going through it and like knowing us or not knowing us, right? You're gonna get a laugh. You might learn something. You might not. You might be completely contradictory to the opinion and post in the comments or something like that. And I'm really excited about that because we want to know what everybody thinks. And when we transition and we start doing some more stuff on Rumble, people are going to be able to get in the chat. They're going to be able to talk shit live, and we'll be able to, talk, have a conversation back and forth. I'm really excited about it. When the boat gets back on his feet and gets healthy again, we're going to have a lot of fun. And
the big part is I'm prime fucking example sitting here on a podcast, almost a few hours into this. Somebody that bitches enough, involves enough, like, you guys are going to bring people on. Like, you guys want it's not like I'm going to fucking tell my story, you guys shut the fuck up. You guys want to include everybody in it, and that's fucking awesome. I mean, look at me. 52 episodes. This is going to be episode 53. Merf fucking made it finally.
Merf made it. That should be the name of it. Merf made it.
Merf made it. Rudy, the boat, Merf made it.
All right, let's take a break and we'll come back with some cool stories. You got some spooky stories for me?
I got some spooky ones for you.
All right, let's do it.
Hey friends, this is a Bote from the Bearded Viking. Just want to remind you that the flavors are going fast. Hurry up and get one of the first 4 or all 4 of the first 4 while you still can at beardedviking.com. And when you get them, grab a buddy. Remember, June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So grab a buddy, have a meetup, talk to your guys.
It's spooky time. I'm ready.
All right. I know you've been waiting for this.
Oh, I have, because I got some fucking spooky shit
for Conspiracy Corner, and I think one of the most important questions that have to be asked during Conspiracy Corner, especially for like virgins like yourself.
Man, dick.
Damn it. It's man dick. You think Bigfoot's got a man dick?
I feel like he does, because like dogs are the only ones. Like bears got fucking normal bear dicks, and it's like a cross between bears and dogs and animals and humans. I'm saying man dick. Like he's just got shit dangling down there. It ain't tucked away like a pink rocket.
I feel like nobody's reported a big old Bigfoot dick.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think anybody that sees Bigfoot is focused. Again, like when I did your pictures, I wasn't looking at like your dog's fucking pink little lipstick. I was looking at everything else around it. Like if I see a Bigfoot, I'm not gonna be like, oh fuck, has he got a dick? No, I'm like, oh shit, this Bigfoot, I'm out. So it's gonna be a while till we know for sure.
See,
I'm gonna have a man dick.
See, I'm gonna have a problem, dude. Because if I ever have a Bigfoot encounter, that's the first thing I'm looking at is dog dick or man dick.
Whether you live or not, you'll go to your grave knowing.
Yeah, the secret will
right
either
or
be
wrong.
safe with me, or you guys are gonna know.
Yeah,
You guys are gonna know.
that's valid.
It's not gonna be a grizzly encounter.
No,
I mean, it's gonna look like one. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, it's gotta be a man dick.
Still think it's a dog dick.
Maybe it's like a mix, like it's a half dangler, but then when it grows, it comes out of a shell like a dog does, not like a man where it's just the same form that grows.
Like
maybe it's a mix.
I don't know. There's a lot of hair down there, you know.
Well, yeah, so you wouldn't even know. Well, I'm not about to go fucking shave a Bigfoot.
Yeah,
I'm never close enough to shave the dude's fucking balls to find out if it's man dick or dog dick. That's because I blasted the motherfucker first. And you and fucking JT are the first ones that's gonna give video of like, oh look, it is a dog dick, or oh fuck, it's a man dick.
I'm telling you, dude, like it's a
100%.
real. I think that at this point, in my mind, Bigfoot's real, but we have to figure out whether it's a man dick or a dog dick.
I think that's the priority in
life.
life.
I think that's the cryptid question that needs to be asked.
Trying to figure out AI, fuck all that. We need to figure out Bigfoot's man dick or dog dick.
Yeah, I feel like that is the question of our generation at this point.
We don't need to be exploring the moon or the stars or the ocean. Nope. We need to find fucking Bigfoot and figure out man dick or dog dick.
Yeah, if NASA can tell us whether it's man dick or dog dick, that would really clear a lot of shit up for me.
Yeah, I feel like we would be good.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna get into like the old, not ergonomics, but the sexonomics of it.
It's a them for sure.
Yeah, I mean, his dick can't be covered entirely with hair, right?
Well, no, I don't think it's functional. You don't want hair inside of anything. It's not, you need something smooth.
That's why I'm saying dog dick. Otherwise, you'd start a fire. You start a crotch fire. That's how forest fires start.
You might have changed my perspective on this because he's got so much hair, and it wouldn't just be like a skin flapping in the wind because he's butt ass naked. It's got to protrude out of the hair somewhere. So I might have been changed.
I'm just saying, I feel like I have a really good argument about a dog dick. I think you do.
We can have a man dick because we got a fucking underwears on. We got our chonies and shit.
Yeah, we used to have like loincloths and stuff. Yeah. I mean, all those dudes.
Even when we did it, it was a hairy fucking thing with flapping skin.
Look how miserable those guys are at Naked and Afraid that do that shit. They're like, oh, something's crawling in there. Dog dick, you don't have to worry about that.
I think you might right. I think you might be
dog dick. Saying, I feel like I have an argument. I'm gonna leave you with that.
I don't get my fucking views changed much, but I might be trusting on dog dick now. So JT, you're wrong. We're going dog dick.
Dog dick. See?
All right.
I think we're shooting 500. I'm gonna need to see the comments. Dog dick or man dick.
Yeah, we need some backup here.
But I want to know what jacks you up, dude. Is it aliens? Is it Squatch? Is it, what is it? What is your paranormal, your cryptid? What is fucking with you?
I mean, if you're gonna base off what's fucking with me, I'm gonna say like history and where we truly came from, whether it be Anunnaki or whatever that is. But as far as like what kind of gets me going, I'd probably say more along the lines of like ghosts or paranormal, like the afterlife or what's there. So it depends on which route you want to go.
So is it because you're scared of it, or is it because you don't know what's there?
Nah, I can't call it a fear, and I don't mean this in like a conceited way. My only fear is to fail as a father or to be a repeat of my father. I don't fear anything past that. Like if all of a sudden the ghost walks in, I might pull a gun, not out of fear, but like I don't know you, so I might just shoot you and see what happens.
Right. If it
But
goes through
I
you.
don't really have a fear past that. Like if there's something else there, it's meant to be, and I'm about to figure it the fuck out real quick.
So we've talked about like flat Earth and
Oh fuck,
interdimensional
flat Earth is bullshit.
interdimensional beings. Like I don't know. There's a whole lot out there. So
Possibly.
what really puts the lead in your pencil? I want to hear. I want to hear these stories. You said you had.
I
You,
gotta
you
say
said you had.
ghosts. I feel like the alien thing, there's so much to it, whether they're from here and we're just now learning about it, or they're from another place, or it's so hidden. It's kind of hit or miss, but like the story with ghosts and paranormals and your fucking cabinets open and closing and stuff like that, I think that's what gets me the most because there's so much. It's here, it's grounded, it's on Earth,
Well,
and
so
it's
I've asked you before. Like you spent a lot of time at 29 Palms,
yeah, I did a decent amount.
and there's a lot of shit that we've talked about on the podcast that happened or happens at 29 Palms, right? But you've told me that you didn't experience anything out there.
Well, so the way I base it, and this is because I got two stories that I'm going to tell you when we get to it, and why I base it on like it can't be a possibility of, well, maybe it's somebody on fire watch. It can't be like it once that's there, there's a possibility of it can be explained in one way or the other. It's done. I'm done. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's the unexplained that no matter what the fuck you do or walk through it or even trying to figure out through your head, if you can't explain it, that's fucking legit. So yeah, there was some shit that happened. Like we're out with a fucking field in 29 Palms and all of a sudden like shit goes off or you hear noises and shit like that. But it could possibly be explained by something else. So I don't base it as like shit happened. Now I
Okay.
got a couple stories where some shit happened where there was no explanation for.
Okay, so where were these stories?
So one, I was a young kid, 5 years old, in my bedroom. Some shit happened. I'm just giving you like a basis of it. Some shit happened. Never thought anything of it. Never told anything about it. Fast forward 20 years later, I'm having a conversation about spooky shit with my brother and my mom, and my brother starts telling a story. Again, I never did start the story. He starts telling me this is what happened, this is what I saw, this is what it was, and I'm like, no, there's no fucking way. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, that happened to me too. And then it's like, whoa, okay, so I can't explain that shit now because I know I never told anybody. I was like, fuck that, I'm in a loony bin or some shit like that if I tell somebody. All of a sudden, fucking, he's telling the exact same story, the exact same details that I know with all of who I am. Nobody ever fucking found out from me.
At 5.
At 5 years old.
So this is not like come into my room, there's something under my bed, or
Right, no, this is
open
some
my
shit would happen
closet.
repeatedly for about a month. So, all right, I'll tell you what
All right,
happened.
well, let's get into it.
We're going to get into it. We're spooky shit deep now. I'm like 5, maybe 6 years old, sleeping in a bedroom. We're on bunk beds. My brother's above me, I'm below me. And this happened for probably a month, 2 months straight. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and there's this fucking big old figure coming out of the wall trying to get something. For the first little bit, I didn't know what it was. And this is what's going to sound weird as fuck. When I finally could like kind of figure out what he was trying to say, it was the same thing every night, every night, every night, every night, same shit. And then all of a sudden, like I can get a little bit more, a little bit more. This motherfucker's asking for a straw. All I remember saying is, give me straw. Could have meant something else. I don't fucking know. At 5 years old, 6 years old, I'm like, fuck, straw. Fuck you, go to fuck. I'd roll over, go to my blanket, go back to bed. Every night, every night, every night. For whatever reason, this fucking figure in the wall that was coming out that I can describe still to this day are like fucking messy hair, like fucked up face, not like a human face, half a body, and it's coming through this fucking like almost like an orb through the wall
So where were you living
on
at the time?
repeat. I was actually right behind the base housing that's like the Kearns area before Kearns High School. Like, so old school base housing obviously has some sort of history there. Like literally never set a fucking word to anybody because I thought I'm out of my mind. Even as 6-year-olds, I'm like, it's not right. Never said anything. Fast forward 20 years later, and we were talking. So there was another incident that brought up the topic. So when I was like, I think it was like 9 or 10, maybe 11 years old, I fell asleep on the couch. The babysitters were there. And this is what was described to me after. I don't remember any of this. I woke up and I sat up on the back of the couch, and I sat there cross-legged on the back of the couch with my eyes rolled in the back of my head, but my eyes open. Babysitters, my brothers, all yelling at me like, what the fuck, throwing shoes at me, like hit me in the face like 3 times with a shoe. I don't know what the fuck happened. And then all of a sudden I just stopped and I went back, laid back on the couch. So I found this out later in life. So that's kind of the conversation was like. They were giving me shit like, nah, you were fucking possessed, you were fucked up, yada yada yada. So then we start talking this, and then my brother's like, well, there's another time back in this house in Kearns, and then I'm like, I didn't say anything, I'm just listening. And he starts describing this fucking figure, and like the way that the kind of the hair-ish area would be, and the face was described, and then what got it is like he just for whatever reason was asking, give me straw, and I'm like, and I just looked at him, and he's like, were you fucking with me? Like he thought I was fucking with him. I was like, no, are you fucking with me? He's like, no. Like, dude, I had the fucking same thing for months, and then out of nowhere just stopped. No idea what the fuck it was, just fucking stopped.
Like a drink straw, or like?
Well, I don't know. I was 5 or 6, and it could have been some different, but that's just as I've aged over the years. That's what it seems like. That's what he was looking for. But like, I'm like, does he want a drink straw? What the fuck's he want?
He was thirsty. He wanted some water.
Is he just trying to get me to hand him something to yank my ass to the wall? I don't fucking know. And maybe there was a straw on the desk the first time, so he's like, oh, he's got a straw, give me that, and then if I would have reached for him, I'd have been gone. I don't know. But that's what I remember, and I never told anybody, not a fucking person, because it was the weirdest thing at that time. I'm gonna fucking say shit. You're a fucking boogeyman trying to take a straw from me, like leave my drink alone. But then all of a sudden, 20 years later, my brother's saying the same fucking story, and I know I never told him. So that was my first, like, all right, there's some shit out there. They want some fucked up shit. I don't know. I mean, look at fucking It. He was just trying to get a balloon. I don't know. But I'll tell you my most recent one. And this one involved where I almost shot Will's dad, Leo. So he's the one that he just passed away. Him and his wife, Will's mom, is the ones that took me in. Always seen him as a father figure. I almost shot the dude with a 12 gauge about 4:30 in the morning. So the house that I'm living in now, it's Will's house. I moved in there first. He was supposed to move in later. He was dealing with some shit. So for the first couple weeks, it was pretty much just me there. Nothing happened. I'm in the basement bedroom. I have a habit. You go down this bed. I close the door all the way, lay down in bed. I can't sleep with my door open. Mainly because I'm a light sleeper, and if there's noise and shit, like I'm up and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? So I'll close the door, turn the TV on every night. Been there for a few weeks. Well, he came and stayed. Leo, Will's dad, came and stayed. And he'd been there for a few days. I wake up, and this is like a snowy night. I think we ended up with like fucking a foot of snow in the middle of the winter or some shit like that.
So like just recently.
Well, so it was about 3 years ago, but it was pretty recent. It'll be like 3 years in like November is when this shit happened. So I'm asleep and I wake up in the middle of the night. Again, Marine vet, law enforcement, like shit wakes me up. I have habits when I go to sleep for a reason. I close my door. I know it's closed. I go to bed. I have the TV on. I'm listening. I fall asleep. I wake up probably about 3 to 3:30 in the morning, somewhere around there. And I only know this because I text Will after. Wake up and my door's open. I kind of rubbing my eyes. I sleep around a lot of guns. If you walk into my bedroom now, there's probably 9 guns within arm's reach of where I sleep. All of them loaded.
Wait, so none of the guns have woke up in the middle of the night and killed you?
None of them, not once. And I've fucking talked some shit to them, and they haven't done anything.
Damn.
But like, I sleep around all these guns. Okay. I wake up in the middle of the night, my door's open. automatically out of the normal. I know it's me and Leo here, which he's, in his 60s at the time, almost 70. His ass hasn't even been down the stairs because he struggles to go down the stairs. Open. So, okay, so that's not normal. So it automatically, like, I'm kind of more alert. I'm looking around and I look over the door and there's a figure at the door and I see a face and it was a male. I couldn't tell you details, but I know it was a male, darker hair standing at the door. And then I'm like, am I dreaming? But then I was like, okay, can I help you? No noise, nothing. But it's still fucking standing there with the door halfway open. I was like, can I help you? No noise. So I have a pistol to the right and I have a 12 gauge that's about this big. It's a little bitty 12. It's considered like sawed off 12 gauge, but not like borderline, could be illegal, could not. But very short distance, like it's gonna push a fucking holes of shit, yeah. So it's a TAC 14, little 14-inch barrel, little broom stick handle on it. Reach over that, grab it, and rack it. Can I fucking help you? Still, I see it standing there. So for probably a good 3 minutes, I saw this figure standing there, full-bodied figure. Opened my door, racked the shotgun, looked back, went to grab my flashlight, and it's gone. So at this point, my fucking heart, like, I'm ready to shoot somebody. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna kill somebody in the house. So it is what it is. They fucked up. They're gonna find out.
Yeah, your fight response is
going. So now I got the flashlight and I'm searching everything. I searched the basement. I searched everything. I searched every inch of that house, under the stairs, the whole 9 yards, other than where the room that Will's dad was sleeping in and the door was closed. Only room I didn't go into. I looked outside. There's no footprints coming to anywhere into the house. Nothing. Not a fucking thing. So then I go downstairs and I'm laying there and I got the shotgun sitting on my lap and I'm like, I legit text Will at like 3:30 in the morning. I was like, dude, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Somebody's in your house. Like, I'm fucking losing my shit. Laying there trying to, combat breathing, breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, breathe out 4 seconds. Trying to do that shit. That's how bad my heart race was going. So I'm laying there for about a half hour, just breathing. 12 gauge loaded on my fucking shit. I got the pistol nearby, flashlight nearby. Like, I'm fucking still just like ready to kill, dude. Breathing. All of a sudden I hear footsteps upstairs. I was like, oh, it's fucking on. Grab the flashlight. I'm going upstairs with my fucking 12 gauge and I come up the stairs and I come around the balcony, shine a flashlight and a 12 gauge and it's Will's dad standing right there. And he's like, oh, fuck, whoa. Like, don't shoot, it's just me, like in panic mode. And I'm like, fuck. So I lower the gun, but I still have the flashlight and I'm like, were you downstairs about a hour ago? He's like, dude, I just woke up. I've never even been in the basement. No, I wasn't. I was like, are you like for real? You've never. He's like, I legit just woke up. I was coming to make coffee. Like, no, I haven't done nothing. So then again, I searched again everywhere through that whole fucking house, his room. I looked through the snow prints around the house, not a fucking thing. But the advantage of the story is that the ghost had to have been liberal because ever since I pulled a gun, I haven't seen him again.
So, I mean, clearly he wasn't coming back to get the straw.
No, he said, fuck this. This is going to blast my ass. I'm out. And I'm not the one. Like, I will always brush off like, oh, it could be this. It could be that. It could be this. 100% I could tell you there was a figure in my house. And I don't know what the fuck he wanted, but his ass was standing there and it had opened up my door. And that was not even 3 years ago.
Never seen anything since.
Never since. I'm telling you, he was a liberal. I pulled the gun. He's like, all right, I'm out.
He didn't support gun control.
Nope. He did. Want nothing to do with that.
He must have supported gun control.
Or he did support it, and he's like, oh, fuck yeah, this dude's ready. I'm good. I'll move on to the next house.
This is not my jam.
But, yeah, dude, those were my, like, legit, some shit fucked up happened where I couldn't explain.
So when you were a kid, you had the straw man.
Right. I had the dude that wanted to straw. But it wasn't a man, though. That's the thing. The way how you describe it would more classify like in the New Age, like how you see the demons and shit like that. 100% was a demon. Wasn't a man, wasn't a person. Demon that wanted a fucking straw.
And then what would you classify basement guy as?
I mean, the house is old. My guess was it was a figure that was there, or somebody that lived there was checking on me, or some sort of entity that realized I'm not the one to check on in the middle of the night because I'm gonna put shotgun holes into the wrong person.
Like,
So
they
he's like,
shouldn't be.
I don't want somebody else to die because this dude's gonna shoot someone.
He was like, man, this guy's a ginger. I'm gonna back out of here.
100%. I think
No,
he
that's-
realized, like, I'm that dude that's like, you fucking startled me. There's a good chance somebody might get shot by accident and I might end up in jail because I fucked up, but I'd rather take the chance of doing it than not. He's like, I don't need to get some old guy killed right now.
Oh, that checks out.
So
It's nonetheless spooky.
I have never, and again, you know, Marine, law enforcement, I've gone through some shit. My heart has never beat it that hard in my entire life. Not once. As when I woke up and there's a figure in my fucking door
Yeah.
that was not explainable.
No, that's definitely terrifying. And I've not had that, but I've also had like kids, like my kids, sneak into my room late at night. And after like busting open the door, because I'm the same way. I shut the door, turn the TV on,
Right.
and Justine just has to live with the TV on. And no, I've definitely had the kids come in there, and my little guy, Conrad, he had this thing where he wanted to crawl under the bed at one point. It's bad news, super bad news. And yeah, we had to have that conversation. Like, dude, you can't do that. You can't do
Well,
that.
no, and I've had that. Like, so, like, you know, I used to own an airsoft arena. I was part of that for a while. I went on a trip with fucking 6 dudes. We stayed in one hotel. We drove from here to Lodi, California. Amazing experience, great time. I didn't know anybody but one dude, so I didn't trust anybody. I was like, oh, I'll drive. Drove straight through all night long. I happened to lay down. I'm not, especially that this was years ago. I've gotten better, but I don't don't startle me when I'm asleep. I will always tell people, like, if you want to fuck with me in the daytime, you're good. You fuck with me when I'm sleeping, there's a good chance you're gonna get shot. 100%. Like, my instant reaction is either I'm gonna punch you, or I'm gonna reach for the gun, and I'm gonna shoot you. It's been that way forever. So I drive the whole way there. There's a couple guys that are gonna jump in the shower, so I just laid on the bed, like, just to relax because I've been sitting down. I fell asleep. Where they were, you know, showering, then we're gonna go to dinner. My buddy, the only one that knew me there, comes up and he shakes me. Hey, it's time to go. I come up swinging at the motherfucker. Now, I slept on the floor in the corner because not one motherfucker wanted to touch me or be anywhere near me. And then in the mornings, they're throwing pillows at me, like, wake up, from the opposite side of the room. Like, I'm not the one. Don't fuck with me when I'm asleep.
I feel like from experience, you sleep on the floor in the hotel rooms quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, it's fine with me.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that. And I've always told people, like, if I'm falling asleep, like, even with women, you know, dating or whatever, I'll always give them the advice, like, don't show up and surprise me. If I fall asleep with somebody in the same room, it's normally not an issue. But if I fall asleep alone and I wake up because somebody's fucking shaking me or in the bed with me, there's a good chance some bad shit's gonna happen. Which, I mean,
I would imagine
veteran.
I would imagine that a lot of veterans are that way.
Yeah, it's
I
a
mean,
normal thing, but
there was a
you
point in
explain
my
it.
life where, like, if I fell asleep, you know, like, somebody would, if they wanted to wake me up, like, they would have to just yell my last name.
Or
Across-
lights.
Yeah, or like shoot a fucking moonbeam in my face
Right.
to
But
get me to
just
wake
don't
up.
grab me or shake me.
Yeah, just don't touch me. I almost killed
Yeah.
my mom one time. No spooky stuff. Fell asleep on the couch. She decided to come up and like shake me awake. And I was like, don't do that. After that, I was like, you almost died. So I can definitely understand
See the issue here.
your issue there. Oh wow, you have lots of issues.
Yeah.
What is that?
But
Healy? What is that? Healy?
it's the
One?
Healy.
It's one. What?
Bottle 1 or batch 1, bottle 1198.
See, and the Healy's not coming around again for a minute.
I know, I have a lot.
I will take this
But
opportunity.
It's wait, go ahead with what you're
I said
saying.
I will take this opportunity to say go on beardedviking.com and get your orders for Healy in fast because
Oh, do it quick because if
there's
there's
like
anything
nothing left.
I'm probably gonna be taking it.
It's gonna be Rob's, and then you're not gonna have anything.
And I will fucking hoard the shit out of you. I'm like, hey, you'll be sitting there like fucking, you got any more of that Healy? I'm like, I ain't got shit. And have 2 cases in my house.
It checks out.
But so for me though, it's haunted houses too. I love Halloween. Like I've gone extravagant on Halloween.
Well, you're
I
a
love
big
the big
dresser-upper.
costumes. Yeah, big dresser upper. I love going to haunted houses. I don't go to the ones where they can touch you though.
Yeah, they can
Because
be
I learned
dangerous.
that like a year after the Marine Corps, I was at a haunted house, and this motherfucker reached out from underneath and grabbed my ankle, and I kicked him in the face and broke his nose and got kicked out of the haunted house.
Yeah, I could see that would be grounds for ejection.
Right, don't fucking touch me. Like you come up, you can scream, you can yell, you can get in my face. I'll handle that. You sneak up and you fucking grab a dude straight out of the fucking Marine Corps, there's a very good chance you're gonna get hit. Well, this dude happened to be laying on the ground, grabbed my ankle. The other foot went whoop, boom, broke his nose. Like it's fucking.
Yeah, do they have to sign the waiver too?
Well, now there's a lot of them that do that. This was, I got out 2009. It was a long time ago.
No, I just mean like, do the
For the touching and
do
stuff
the
like that.
actors have to touch the
Yeah,
or sign the waiver too?
There's only a few of them in Utah now that will allow to be able to touch them, and you have to sign a waiver saying, "I give them permission to touch me."
There's that one out here by me that is
the
actually
asylum.
haunted. Yeah.
I won't go to that one.
No, I think that one's too real. There's a couple that I am totally cool with like haunted houses. I think they're fun. I call them spook houses. I think they're fun. And they're good for a jump scare. But there's two in particular here in Utah. And Asylum is one of them. And there's that one Fear Factory that's here that have both been proven to legitimately have spirits or ghosts and stuff in them. And I'm not going there. Like, I think it's fun to get like jump scared or, get the jump scare and have a good time and everything. But I'm not into like going to the places that there's shit that's going to follow me home.
Right.
And,
so I actually, story about Fear Factory, they've bought 2 of my costumes.
Really?
Yep. They've bought 2 of my costumes that I've had over the years. I sold them to them.
So one of the things
Not that matters, but
because I knew you were going to get into spooks and such. Those 2 in particular have been on Ghost Adventures with Zach Baggins and like his crew,
right.
Everything specifically. So I want to know, what do you think about the technology that they use to find the ghosts, whether it's real, whether it's like the little beep beep things?
I think that's all fake as fuck, and that's not legit. Like, I think there's certain things like cameras will catch them. A lot of that shit I think is literally just they're put on a show for TV to make money.
So you don't think like an EMF detector works?
To an extent, yes, but not to where they think it does.
Okay, so like him specifically, he has his I forget what he calls it. It's in Vegas, but it's like his haunted museum, basically.
Right.
And he's got like Annabelle. He's got the staircase from like the Hell House. He's got like all kinds of weird shit in there that he's absolutely fucking off his rocker for having in there, right? He's got like the Dybbuk box. He's got all kinds of weird, crazy shit.
Well, same concept of the Conjuring people, right?
Right.
They keep that shit.
But like they walk around, like that's the weird thing is like he keeps that shit, right? And like he's proven he's said and he's proven a few cases where the shit has came after him, right?
Right.
And like I really don't know how the guy sleeps at night.
Oh, 100%. There's no way in fuck I'd sleep to that.
But then they do like those Halloween specials where it's like the live Halloween special and stuff like that. And I know it's for entertainment, but some of that stuff has to work, right? Like they have I forget what the thing is that's called, what it's called, where like they, the frame, like it outlines the person.
Oh,
and then like they see the other stick figures come into play and stuff like that. Like that seems really real to me.
It's valid. Like, I mean, there's a lot of videos. Like, there's one that was posted a while back. It was like hotel footage and shit like that. Well, you know what I'm talking about? Where all of a sudden, like, you see a dark figure go into the room, and then shit's getting thrown out the room. There's like noises and shit like that. Like, that shit, I think, is more realistic than like the tools that they use. I think, for whatever reason, when you start to set up the stage, whether it's real or not, the fucking entities aren't, the likelihood of them is very slim that they're going to follow through. They're not idiots.
So do you think it's entities, or do you think that it's like trapped energy?
It really depends on how you look at it. I mean, because at the end of the day, I think we're all energy. And I think that when we pass, our energy remains, and some of us goes on, or, you know, it could be reincarnation or whatever. I think there's some that get trapped, whether it be an entity or an energy. It's all, to me, it's all the same thing. I don't think that it's a different thing. I think it's just how different religions or people or history explains it. I think we're all talking about the same thing, but we have different names for it.
Right, but what about those different cases where, so we've talked about this, and I'm a firm believer that we're all energy based, right?
100%.
And I don't think that, and this is really, you know, I'll get shit for this, but I really don't think that gravity's real. I think that we don't have a molten core that sucks us down to Earth. I think it's all, you know, kind of
if you're gonna go with that lines, why would the bottom of the ocean be fucking freezing cold versus the top's warmer, but it's supposed to be molten lava right there?
Right.
I feel like it's more along something else. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I think it's more of like electromagnetic like attraction, right? You know, the Earth is a negative and we're a strong positive, or vice versa, or something like that, right?
Which connects it.
Plus,
you take them two opposite magnets or whatever.
Right. Yeah, they suck together, right? And we've talked about before. We've talked about the ether, and we've talked about how like Tartaria, they had like blimps and stuff like that, and they were basically just charging up the blimps based off of energy that they're pulling out of the ethers and everything, and then all of a sudden blimps didn't have a thing. Right. They were dangerous in the Hindenburg. But I think like we haven't really talked about this specifically, but I think the Hindenburg was a big, huge thing to get rid of all of that, like last little bit of Tartarian technology. Yeah. Because shortly after the Hindenburg went down, we did transatlantic flights with airplanes. Right. But there's a whole lot of pictures and, you know, old timey videos and stuff like that of blimps pulling up to, you know, these big towers and stuff like that and just charging up is what it looks like, because people can't get on to the blimp from the very tip of it. They can't get on it and walk through it. There's no elevator up to go through there like that. Right. Or maybe there fucking was, and they were charging up and loading up with people and going across, right? So going back to like energy, right? There's a lot of places, I think, just across the United States and across Europe and every other country, right? But we can speak mostly to the United States and Europe and stuff like that, um, that have a lot of trapped energy. And I think it has a lot to do with like quartz and granite and water and all those things because,
Right.
and crystals are fucking weird. I have not figured that out yet. But they freak me out. Especially when you see like somebody grabbing crystals and like rubbing them together in the dark and you see like sparks and electricity and shit happen. So there's definitely things that like trap that, right? They trap energy. So do you think that there's some energy that gets trapped that is just stuck on replay all the time? Or do you think it's all intelligent?
I think majority of it is energy that's trapped. I mean, and it's funny not to like throw it out movie, but the fucking movie with the blue people, what the fuck is it called? Avatar.
Oh, Avatar.
Yeah. A lot
What?
of that's energy, okay? Everything's based on energy. I think that's
And the big
I mean,
trees.
right. And
The
I
big
and I
trees.
think, they hint towards things or whatever in movies, yada yada yada. That doesn't matter. But I think a lot of it's similar to that. Like you have energy that's tied, and when you go, your energy stays, and so people can connect to that. And sometimes some energy gets put in a loop, and that's where it ties.
Do you think
But
do you think
I
that
like I
energy
said,
got trapped in a loop because we cut all those big trees down?
well, yeah. I think there's something that causes it, and it could be something like that, or it could be a sudden death, like a murder or something like that, or like a lot of the haunted houses, people were murdered in them. Like their life was cut short before they was should have.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's like that's what gets you trapped. And then so I think that's what a lot of that ends up being. But then also you get the intelligent stuff of people that have been around, that concept you guys had talked about recently about the old soul or something like that. I think that's an energy that I'm not ready to leave. I want to help. This is the only way I can help. Those are a little bit more the intelligent ones, like the where you can get the information. But I think majority of the stuff you see is the energy was not ready to end and something happened to end that forum, so now it's trapped in a loop. So I think
So
it's a combo of both.
so you brought up Avatar, and you're kind of a dick for doing that because we weren't going to go over this in this particular segment. But do you think that this world kind of got handicapped because those trees got cut down? Because and for backstory, if you look at a lot of the what is it, El Capitan, like all kinds of stuff like that. There's some in Australia. There's a bunch in the United States where it looks like these gigantic mountains just shooting straight out of the earth. And
The plateaus that are like massive trees.
yeah, I mean all of the Grand Canyon
They cut down,
basically,
yeah.
and southern Utah, where it looks like it's just these gigantic plateaus. They say that like wind, rain, and whatever caused it, but do you think that they were giant trees?
I think in some
Because
aspects they are. Like there's that plateau it's here in the States. I want to say it's Nevada or Arizona or something like that. And it literally looks like a tree's root, but it's fucking massive.
oh
You know what
yeah,
I'm talking about?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know what you're talking about. I don't remember what the
I don't
particular
remember what
name
name
of
it
it,
is or
but I
whatever,
remember
but
what you're talking
and
about. Yeah.
there's the stuff like that throughout the world that just doesn't make sense. Like it literally there's no way water formations there's anything that would shape it that way. Even if you get into like the pyramid and the fucking cat that sits there, like if you follow the history and base it off of how water erosion is and stuff like that, it doesn't make sense. Which
Well,
kind of leads me into like, and this is a new theory that I've been getting into, is that like Billy Carson is I don't know if you listen to a lot of stuff about the Anunnaki, about the fucking
Oh, I
the
mean,
old.
yeah. I mean, we listened to like a 4-hour podcast on the way back down, right?
Right. And
Uh-huh.
listening to him and paying attention to him more makes more sense that even if you follow that, you follow whatever it is, like there's so much information that it makes more sense than, well, watered or eroded it, or there's a flood and all of a sudden you have this flat fucking top that looks like a tree cut down. It
Well, and you
starts to
have,
tie in, like, what could it really be? Maybe
well,
he's
and you,
not right, maybe he's wrong. It doesn't matter. What could it be? It can't be what history teaches us.
well, and you have Enoch and things that come out of the book of Enoch, and then like the Bible that say that they sent angels down and chopped down the biggest trees and things like
Right.
that, right? So we end up going back to like biblical things and ancient world things, right? And we have very limited knowledge of it. But you get movies like Avatar and things like that that seem to throw it in your face.
Right. And taken
And
into a loop.
where these things could have been gigantic energy producers and energy conductors. And it's already even like conventional science, like not even fringe science, says that there was a whole lot more oxygen on the earth than there is now. That's why things got bigger.
Why dinosaurs were bigger, trees
Right.
would have been bigger,
But there's also a lot
people.
of stuff that says dinosaurs are only like 5,000 years old, or dinosaurs didn't exist. And then there's things that look like snakes trapped in rocks, or dragons that laid down, or giants that laid down and got petrified, like stuff like that, right? So we're talking about gigantic like energy conductors,
Hmm.
and
Pyramids.
in these places, right? And throughout the world, there's a lot of people that go missing,
Oh yeah, big
and
time.
there's a lot of 411. David Politis, David Politis. Colitis is a condition. David Politis talks about missing 411 and these areas where these big, gigantic rock outcrops are and formations and everything are. There's a lot of people that go missing, and there's a lot of granite areas that go missing. But when you are hiking through the woods and you see these gigantic granite outcroppings and just kind of like odd bald spots and things like that throughout the
Hmm.
forest, you tend to, at least me, hiking, hunting, hiking. I don't end up seeing a whole lot of animals, but I do a lot of hiking. I do lots of nature walks. Take my bow for a walk or take my rifle for a walk. Um, I'm trying to figure out how the fuck all these rocks got here. And it doesn't seem like glacial things where just over 1,000 years these rocks got taken down. It looks like something exploded.
Oh, 100%. Um, I again, it's like mixing with that versus like what could be, what might be. And again, I lean a lot on Billy Carson because I listen to a lot of them lately. And the moral of the story, I think that there's so much information, and it's that standard, history is told by the victor. Well, what are we missing? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like what pieces were there that they're not wanting to tell us because, well, they won. They want to keep that out of the loop.
Uh-huh.
It's like there's so much that could be explained in a lot of different aspects that we have no clue on because we've got thousands of years of history that's based off of the victor of whatever that was.
So, and I would say that there's like spiritual attacks, like, black beings and stuff like that. Like, say, for
Hmm.
instance, like the things that you saw when you were a kid
Right.
and then you're a grown ass man. Spiritual attacks that are just black, things like that are trying to get a rise out of you, a response, that are intelligent, right? So, a different plane. And then there are things that are like energy,
Right.
you know, uh, OK Corral type stuff. People go to Tombstone, there's a lot of crazy shit that happened in Tombstone. Not just the OK Corral, but a lot of death and,
Any history. You look
despair.
at, Virginia or any of those.
Yeah, or you
The
look at
battles have been made.
Deadwood, stuff like that.
Yep.
So there's a lot of energy out there, a lot of trapped energy. Maybe stuff repeating itself, and then there's that stuff that's intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Scary.
So it's the unknown, and I don't think we're designed to know. And as soon as we find out, I think we're gonna fuck some shit up, and then it's gonna be more than we want to know.
I feel like we were designed to know, and the knowing basically got ripped away from us.
I think it was intentionally taken away, though. I mean, if you look at it, like if you look at like the DNA, like you can store physical data on there. I'd had a conversation with you about this. Like they've proven, like you can upload a book onto a DNA form, like literally one tiny micro strand of fucking DNA, and then you can repeat that book trillions of times on that one little piece, and then convert it back to 0-1, so it's in a binary system to the computer or read it. So like our DNA is meant to store shit.
Right.
I just don't think we figured out how to read it.
Right. And the brain is like this weird processing unit.
Exactly.
I think it's a good thing. I think we're going down the right track. I think we're gonna have to save it for next time, though.
I think so too, because we've hit some time here.
We have blown the time out of the water. I think it was a lot of fun. I think we covered some really killer topics. We did some men's mental health. But I think it's time to wrap up.
I'd agree. It's getting late. It's about 1 a.m. in Utah here now. So.
And you're still going strong.
Still going strong.
Letting the Healy wear off.
But yeah, the Healy is delicious, though. Aside from a new flavor that will be coming, this is my second favorite flavor.
So we got all kinds of new flavors coming. We're wrapping up. We got the boys up in Montana. They're brewing. This was one of the brew weeks, and they have some stuff already in the pipeline for everybody. 4 new flavors are coming at you, so stay tuned. And we got to give some shout outs. I want to give a bunch of shout outs to the team.
I need to ma'am them.
Ma'am. They're up there. They're doing the Lord's work or Odin's work, whatever you want to call it. They're brewing. They're going to a bunch of brew fests. Bearded Viking just took second place in a brew fest just recently up in Montana. So there was another one this weekend coming at you. We'll find out what the results are of that one soon. But I'm guessing that we probably took first or second. I'm just saying,
I mean, if we didn't take first, it's biased. It's
by design. Somebody rigged it.
Yeah.
But so, as far as the Mead boys go, they're blowing it out of the water. They're doing an awesome job. Pretty soon, you're going to see some more flavors coming at you. The brewing it's getting out of hand. There's lots of brewing going on. If you want some of the flavors, we got OG, we have Utogly, we have Healy, and we have Tier, and there's very limited stocks left. So if you can order them online, order them online. The boys are up there working hard, and if you don't get those, they're not coming back around for a little bit. We are going to have some new flavors. I'm not going to give you the sneak peek yet, but
they'll be worth it.
They're going to be really good. Healy's coming. And pretty soon there's going to be a icing machine at the meadery. So you're going to be able to go into the meadery in Columbus. You're going to be able to get some Bearded Viking mead, and you're going to get it in the snow cone form. You're going to have a good time. It's going to be good. Lots of food trucks coming. And I can't say enough about, Charlie FICO. He's on the podcast because he's working his butt off. We have Bond, who's up there, Tro, for those of you that know him by that. And so we have quite a bit of the crew up there right now that is going through the bottling and the Brewfest process. But let's see tomorrow. and we'll be open through the weekend. So go up there, say hi to the guys, tip your hat for us, and I can't say enough about those guys. And all of our regular sponsors, they're killing it. I'm really excited.
Yeah, no, I can't even follow up with what you're saying. Like, to know what those guys are doing up there, they're seriously putting in some serious work to get product to people that want it and get the name out there. And it's serious work right there. So
Everybody's working hard. Everybody's sweating. It's getting hot. But if you guys
even
can
in
show them some,
Montana,
yeah, if you guys can show them support, if you guys can show them some support up in Columbus, go say hi. If not, hit us up online, and be seeing you soon. But until then, let's sign off. Stay weird, weirdos, and cheers, motherfuckers.
cheers, motherfuckers, and ma'am.
We'll see you guys next time. All right, and we are out.
Yeah, that's good.